Howdy folks, welcome to Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest, our original D&D 5th edition campaign. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Matt, Vincent, Tina, Hannah, and Alana. Kara is not joining us because they are sick, but I can see that they're in the chat. So hello, Kara. We hope you feel better. We're going to play D&D, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. We didn't play Mosaic Team 5 last night. We have a lot of illness going around post-Thanksgiving. It happens pretty much every year. So that didn't happen, but we're going to be back next week on Thursday for a little bit more of our original Starfinder campaign. We're picking up right in the middle of combat. It's a very big battle.
Whole month for me.
I know, yeah, it's been gone for a long time. But that's going to be next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have Instagram where you can see all kinds of things that are on the close-ups. We have a table, we have miniatures, battle maps, things like that. But it's kind of hard to see on that camera. You can see it much closer at Alberon RPG. Which is also our username on YouTube, where every single session that we've ever played has been stored. It's a tremendous number of hours. But yeah, that's all over on YouTube. And then finally, actually, that's all that we have. And then now we have a stinger to play. So we're going to start playing soon. Wandering Hearts. Last we played. That really threw me off. Wandering Hearts, last we played. You stood amidst lava after defeating Arjan, the king of the fire giants. Billy, using Alina as a mouthpiece, delivered a stirring speech intended for the fire giants who remained, but as you all gazed up into the soot that falls, it was hard to tell if any could really hear you, as none of you could see too far. With the intense heat and chemical gases, you decided to leave, and with Ori's help managed to drain the lava and restore the lift. You descended and decided to hike all the way back through the lava, finding that Athorian had freed the prisoners, who said that they had a ship ready to go. You all camped on the beach, with Valis attuning to their newfound prayer beads, which possessed the spirit of Javaris the Wise, an elderly and verbose scholar. You rested with Ori, seeing a spark of movement from the ship between planes, both near the beginning of your watch and towards the end. But in the morning, you all made your way over there, with Billy hearing some helpful voices from beyond a reopened door below. Billy slammed the door shut again, as Ori discovered that a Thorian had been here through the various breadcrumbs that they had left behind, and left. With Minka's water walk, you all easily used rope to make your way down to the Remember Me drift back in the material plane, and stepped across the waves to a small tidal island where Hearsome Great guided you back to the Arboreal Vineyard, a beautiful Feywild vineyard, to clean the soot from the volcanoes away and report your success to the Fire Genasi Brisare Coalmonger. Brisare, who now acknowledged that he had been made a prince, thanked you and swore to create something for you once the forges were back up in about a month's time. He departed, telling you that when you were ready to be the Wandering Hearts no more, you'd always have a home in the Coal Kingdom. With him gone, you were all presented with a number of items to go after next. The Sword of Sinterston, which you had all heard a little bit about, the bow known as the Song of Dark Morning. He had also found an item in a faraway place known as Dominion, a city called Dungannon, but upon finding that you had sabotaged the free ride that you could have taken with Sade, suggested that you maybe would like to avoid her for the time being. He said he would find an alternate item, one closer or on the way to Minka's home. With that, you were unleashed on the Emerald Spire to shop, meeting the Wincing Manticore later. Valis, you spent time attuning to the new item at the Wincing Manticore, learning that it was possessed by the spirit, and learning a little bit more about the Ordning. A lot more about the Ordning, but still very little at the same time. Billy, Alina, and Minka went off shopping, procuring some general supplies for the road ahead, including gem dust and some other things. Ori, you apologized to the various party members and recognized that you needed help to reach your own goals, ending with Cheshire, who accepted your apology on the condition that Ori would be her dancing monkey. And as this pair heads back towards the Wincing Manticore, that is where we begin this evening.
I'm happy
there was no
for
condition. He offered a drink and has no money
That's
to pay,
true.
so therefore.
This is true. But there are definitely, there's a big bowl of regretty spaghetti.
Man, I love that. Okay. So, for all of you now, I believe everybody has returned to the Emerald Spire. I think that maybe Billy had something that they wanted to do, but I can't remember off the top of my head what that was.
He wanted to sell 2 Rahir teeth for some extra spending money.
Okay. And is that something that you also want to do?
Sure.
Okay, no problem.
She wants to do it. I want to do it.
What will we be spending the money on?
Stuff.
Supplies. We would like to buy
She
supplies. Not
realized
ask for details.
she realized that we didn't have any spelunking gear, and she's painfully aware of the fact that we don't have a lot of money. So she says things and stuff. So I think she thought it would be a good idea to have more than none money on hand.
Sure. How many teeth is Billy trying to part with?
2.
2. Okay. Can you make just a general persuasion check for Billy?
Natural 20, which is great because I don't have Billy's sheet on that.
Fantastic. So Billy is like looking around for this person, and eventually, this is maybe something that Billy kind of does off on their own, but
Probably find Stabby Stew.
really, like, no, finds like an elderly woman who like had their home broken into, and they're very wealthy, well-to-do, and they had this like mounted Rahir's head that their late husband had like killed, and the teeth had been taken away because of how valuable they were, and so they were willing to give any price, and Billy very, very keenly picked up on this desperation and got double the price for it. And so instead of 25 gold apiece, getting a total of 100 gold for the 2. So well done, Billy, from afar. Howdy, Gunner. Howdy, howdy. Talent.
You said 50 each?
Yeah. So for the rest of you, is there anything shopping related that people want to do before meeting back at the Wincing Manticore?
Yes.
Yes.
I like to get some candy from the chocolate machine.
Sure. How much are you trying to get?
I'll get another 3.
Okay. So mark down 3, and then we'll do the D100 roll when they come up. I think that's, well, or whenever you want to like investigate them, I guess.
I'll probably just be during the night.
Okay. So we'll get back to that.
Okay.
No worries.
A gold each, right?
Yep. You go back, you put the gold in the little gnomish gumball machine, you crank the dial, you get your 3 pieces of candy. Yeah. Anybody else have things that they want to do?
Not shopping related, but Ori's going to go perform.
Okay.
Sing for his supper, basically.
Well, my liquid supper.
You're a leper.
So, Ori, what performance are you putting on?
I'm gonna drag him into a very crowded area.
Okay.
And
I have good hands.
got this. I'm gonna fish out the piece of candy that Valis gave me.
Okay.
Eat this.
What is it?
It's candy.
Kind of candy.
I don't know, candy. Get what Valis gave it to me. Eat it.
Does it have nuts in it?
Probably.
It's like a little piece of sugar candy. It doesn't look like it has any nuts in it. It's sweet.
Is this gonna make me turn into something weird?
Probably not.
Make an insight check.
18?
No
18?
weirder than you've already been.
You eat the candy, and it's sweet. It doesn't have a whole lot of like flavor outside of sugar, but you do almost immediately feel this blush rise to your cheeks, and then it shifts back, rolling along your sinuses until it hits your ears, and then you feel the skin kind of pull and stretch and begin to elongate, and then all of a sudden, your elvish ears become significantly more so, and significantly more like Hearsome and other archfey that you've maybe heard of. Very long ears. When the weight does pull your head back a little bit, they almost touch like the small of your back. Quite exaggerated. Bunny ears does Ori have.
What?
So now, minor illusion Ori to look like a bunny.
So at that moment, there's like a woman walking by with her kid, and the kid goes by and goes, "I want ears like that," and she just goes, "Oh, it's not big, just here." And then all of a sudden, Ori just shifts and turns. Do you voluntarily fail the saving throw?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All of a sudden, the ears kind of like
I would have surprised.
turns and spins around and just into a rabbit with incredibly long humanoid ears. And the kid just like shrieks out in delight and like breaks the mom's grip. And all of a sudden, like you can see this kid just goes up and looks at you, Cheshire, and it's just like, "Can I pet him?" And there's like all of a sudden just tons of kids, like children are all over you. And Ori, you're getting your cheeks pulled, and like the ears pulled back.
The largest hair in all the world.
Make a performance check, Cheshire.
He does tricks.
I'm gonna gently yet
Natural 20.
push the child away from me
That's a
so that he
total
is not
28.
touching me anymore. I don't want these children touching me.
No problem. So over the course of some time,
And so I'm using, of course, my mind speak ability, like telling Ori what to do and what tricks to try while like playing a song and like doing all the whole thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Production.
No problem. So over the course of like, it really only takes about 20 minutes, and it becomes almost a problem. And you do at one point, you can see elements to Luxagi, the local kind of law-keeping forces here, just kind of making their way over and having to like get people to sort of form lanes because it's causing traffic issues. But without any real issue, give me 1 second here. You can add 13 gold pieces to your inventory, and towards the end of your performance, there's an individual that comes up to you. They're a little bit like, I guess everybody's old now, a little bit on the older side, and she comes up with this necklace that looks like it's made out of some kind of carved like bone or whale bone probably, and you can see on it there's a number of small semi-precious stones, not gems of any kind, but you're looking more like amethyst and things like that. And kind of bashfully, she walks up to you and she says, "You're the hair person, right?"
That is correct.
Well, it would be marvelous if the hair could be different colors. So thank you for the
Instantly turns pink.
performances. Oh. Well,
I'm doing a handstand now.
Starts just rainbow shifting through the colors.
Oh,
like
RGB
some of those
bunny.
lights.
well, never mind then. And you can see he just takes this little necklace and kind of discards it off to the side and rushes off. But no worries.
Take it.
Sure. So this little necklace, you can see it has 7 stones, each of them roughly corresponding with one of the colors of the alphabet. That's none of what I want to say. One of the colors of the rainbow. There we go. And each one, when you press it, this is not something that requires attunement, but you can kind of shift the rough hue of something to that color. It doesn't like smash it into that tone, but it's like you're looking at somebody through a filter, perhaps.
Love it.
Necklace of Instagram filters. Sorry.
Yeah, basically,
Fantasy
yeah.
Instagram filters.
Basically, yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Is
I will give-
Sepia one of the?
But find us at Alberon RPG.
I will give Ori 7 of the gold pieces.
Okay. Hey, look at that. So,
How long do my ears last? Do I know
an
that?
hour.
Okay.
I would say you
Based
probably
on the
don't
fact
know that, but
it's-
you saw that with the last one.
Right, and
They all
based on
seem-
the fact that it's a candy, it can't be like a, "Oh no, I ate this candy and now I'm
Forever.
permanently transformed."
Make a history check.
Now you're long-eared Jones.
And make it at advantages.
Oh,
There's benefits from your Feywild.
Oh shit, that's a 16.
There's a place in the Feywild that is known as the Feywild Canty Mountains, and
Feywild
it's
Candy
a
Mountain.
lovely place, like where there is
Well, I've been
literal.
there, I think canonically.
You haven't been there.
Oh, I've heard of it.
We had
definitely
an
heard of it.
opportunity to go there and we decided not
You
to
did.
because we're deeply serious.
This is I mean, it's and it's not a deeply serious place. There's cotton candy trees, and there's places where liquid sugar runs down the rocks, and there's like things that you really also don't want to do.
Mika, I know that this is important to you this next trip, but
Like the Crow of
something
Lies, the Man Without Eyes, like all these individuals who place these pieces of candy out that
The
are
rock candy golems.
really bad. These are the things that you eat, and they kind of trick you into things that are lasting and enduring. And so candy can absolutely be a very, very
But
potent
like
thing.
candy from a candy dispenser in the Emerald Spire.
Probably not.
Probably cool.
So you perform.
Alas.
Valis shops, Billy shops. Is there anything else people want to do?
I think with Billy, we would just make sure we had enough rope and if we could find perhaps a second pickaxe and like climbing pythons.
Yeah.
Just if we're gonna go towards the caves and potentially, yeah.
I just want to say it
Yeah.
is-
Alina will go with you guys. Alina also has some money that she's just been holding on to.
So rolling off of Billy's kind of natural 20 in the persuasion department, wheeling and dealing is Billy, fresh off this kind of combat with the fire giants, a little bit more
Wheeling.
confident. And so I would say no problem. You can get a pickaxe for 1 gold, which is about half price. And how much rope are you looking to get?
So we currently only have what, like 50 feet.
Ori
Well,
has
I have
behind.
60 feet of rope.
Ori has 90 feet, but it's 2 that have been lashed together
Yeah.
with the appropriate knots.
hmm
So it's not.
Valis has some
Come
rope, I
apart.
know. You got any rope, Tesh?
50 feet.
Okay. I think or like if she can find a 100-foot rope.
Yeah, easy. And this time of year, it's pretty easy to get hemp and rope. Well,
The rope trees are fertile this year.
no, so hemp has just finished harvesting,
Yeah.
and so you're looking at about
So
half price as
literally,
well. This is a 5 silver for 50 feet of rope. Basically, 1 silver per 10 feet.
I'm buying.
It's a good time to buy rope if you're going to
Buy
stock up.
6,000 feet,
All right. Billy,
then wait for it
How much are you buying?
and sell it later.
Probably 100 feet rope.
No problem. You can mark that off 10 silver, 1 gold.
so 1 gold, 10 silver.
Yeah, because we have a bag of chalk already. We can all have some ability to light things. So for visibility, if we absolutely need it. So
Torches, okay.
yeah. So
You all make your way back to the Wincing Manticore. In doing so, give me 1 second here. I would say you, Valis, you're the one who kind of spends the most time there. So I believe you're there first. And so you are the first to see Hearsome arrive. He would probably make it back before the rest of this group. Looking pretty pleased with himself, but he sees you sitting there kind of staring at the beads very intently, and he says, terribly dull, isn't he? But he knows quite a bit. Valis, where are the rest of your companions?
Shopping? I think.
He goes over and he's just like, Crispy, and he calls, and like Crispy comes down, and like, you know, he gets a beer and he'll wait with you. Is there anything that you want to do with Hearsome before?
Have a drink with him.
Okay, yeah, no problem. You can sit down, you can have a drink with
He
Hearsome.
doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd want to have a drink with.
May I join you here, son?
Of course.
Vincent has pointed out that he doesn't have the history with Hearsome that we do.
It's true.
Just thinks he is a cool guy.
He moves over, and Crispy brings out a very nice bottle of scotch. Not scotch, I guess, because there's no Scotland. Very nice bottle of whiskey. And as you kind of take it, hear some gestures and almost kind of like asking, do you want some?
Yes, please.
And then so Crispy reaches under and pulls out another glass. It's a little dusty, and pours some whiskey in and slides it over to you. And if you drink it, this is like very mineral rich. It's something that is like smoky and dark on the palate. It's a very good whiskey. But the rest of you, one by one, find your way back. And when everybody is gathered there, Hearson is going to say, so, Alina, I've managed to find an item a little bit closer to home and on the way to Minka's, in fact. I'm not going to be able to bring you there as fast as I'd expected, and so I found middle ground. Will you all come with me? And he stands up and walks out the front door, bringing his glass of whiskey with him.
Okay.
I want to get a drink if I don't already have one from Crispy.
I was like, as soon as you go, and Crispy's like, goes in and like takes the whiskey out and pours you a very hefty, like a double pour.
Oh, my man,
Yeah,
Crispy.
no problem.
It's been too long.
How much do I think this glass is worth?
Make a flat intelligence check.
16.
16. This whiskey, how much is
glass
how much?
itself.
Oh, the glass?
Yeah.
Or probably like a solid gold piece.
All right, I'll just drop a gold piece there because I'm not sure if I'm
Okay.
coming back with the glass.
Crispy
Smash
takes it
on
and
the
just
ground.
goes, you can come back anytime.
Sorry for the miss.
But he brings you guys all around back to an area, like through this kind of alley, to an area where there is a lot of hay down and cobblestone, and you can see these kind of stalls in which probably meant for different kind of horse-sized individuals. In one of them, there is an oaken stagecoach, stained to a near black darkness. There's moss and lichen and vines that grow and cling to the spaces around the windows and between the wheel wells. There are large wooden wheels that are painted black, and there is no horse attached to this, but you can see up on the kind of bench where the driver would sit, which probably would seat too, there is a pair of dark leather reins that have these red etchings in them, and these almost glow and sparkle and are certainly magical. And Hearson says, this is the Gloam Court Stagecoach. It's something that I had to make an unfortunate sacrifice to obtain. But for all of you, it should allow relatively fast travel. It should keep you safe. It should keep you warm. And it is, most importantly, the mounts cannot be killed.
Oh, that's good. We have,
Yes, I know.
interests. Yeah, I know.
Thank you for the sacrifice you made to get us this coach.
May I ask as to what the sacrifice was?
Yes, I'm going to have to attend if you could call it a party, with the Prince of Solitude.
I knew it was going to be party related. Sorry.
How
Oh, that's,
terrible for you.
Yeah, that's
Truly.
too bad. Thank you so much for.
He is the most depressing individual I've ever met. And I've met some very depressing individuals.
Is he a prince of the kingdoms on Everest, or why?
He's a
Yes.
divine court guy.
He is not. He is an individual who is of high status in the Republic of Okanabur. But this...
Is that to the south?
Yeah. It's an individual who has been through quite a lot, and their sadness is quite warranted. That being as it may, this is something that you can all use, and it should be bordering on indestructible, although if anybody could destroy it, it might be you. The item that I've found...
Appreciate the faith you have in us.
It's less about faith and more about history. But the item that I found for all of you is something that is known as the waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider. It's something that at one point had belonged to a champion of the Autumn Court, in fact. This is something that exists... It last went with this champion into the Candlestick Forest, which is on the way to Minka's home. You would take the Woodcarver's Path, and if you wished, you could deviate to Thornholm, which is only a day away. Half a day by coach. The Candlestick Forest is home to a number of hags. It is most likely that this champion fell to them. Yes, Billy, hags. The Coven of Unrest. They are 3 individuals, and they live within a magically mist-filled forest.
And what does this waistcoat do?
Well, it does a number of things, but most importantly, to Alina's purpose, it will increase their capacity to perform magic every day.
All right, well, that's good, I guess.
That sounds pretty good. So, thanks for tracking this down. So how long will it take us to get there? And then how much?
Is that why we're going? What? Does it work for Ori? Like, does he want magic? No. Is that why we're going?
It's for me.
I think this one's for Alina.
How
Well, seeing as it's from Sir Nunos, I would say that Alina would benefit from it the most.
Cool. From Sir Nunos?
I think the bow
Well, yes.
Like he made it?
for him.
It is for the champion of Sir Nunos.
And this Nightmare Rider, sorry.
It's the waistcoat of
The waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider.
Which was given to and who's the
It
person
was
who had
taken
it?
by
Champion of
presumably
Court.
Thank you.
Did
the Coven of
Does
Unrest.
the champion have a name?
The Nightmare Rider Kess Hellfeather, an Aarakocra who originally hailed from the nest prior to its fall. A powerful individual, and so if they fell, these hags must have grown quite powerful.
Is there anything that we should know about fighting hags?
In general, or these in particular?
I've never fought any hags.
Yes.
So, both.
He looks over at Billy and then says, well, I believe Billy will be able to help you, but there are some things that will be very important to keep in mind. Hags feed on terror, sadness, despair, these negative things, and so they will try to manipulate your feelings and trick you, and if you fall into these traps, they will grow more powerful. These individuals are known to use tactics to make people fall asleep. And so anything that you can do, I know some of you will already withstand that naturally, but anything that you can do to do that would be most helpful. If you, for most people I wouldn't even say this, but I would suggest posting a watch at all times, as if you were all to fall asleep at the same time, it's hard to tell.
Suggest that because in the beginning we didn't.
It was one time.
But it was the time that I was watching.
So then, technically speaking, someone was watching.
That's not the point, Dory.
But technically speaking.
Is there anything else that you wish to ask?
Honestly, it's a wonder he even still employs us.
How long roughly will it take us to get there?
By stagecoach, it should only take you 4 days. If you wish to deviate to Thornholm, perhaps 5.5.
We don't have to deviate. I mean,
You could always visit on the way back. Is there any pressing reason you'd like to visit your home?
no, and it's not time for me to go back yet anyway, so,
What was it I heard? Something about 12 people died? In that thing we're going to. Yeah.
is there any way to get a message to make this home? You know, letting them know that we're on our way?
I think we just have to get there.
Because it's a bit of a trip. I walked it this time, so stagecoach just has changed.
Speaking of which, how do you use this stagecoach? I noticed that there are no animals.
Yes, indeed. The stagecoach, and he kind of walks over and holds up the reins, and he says, by speaking the word, I have to look for it in my notes here, tour, once per day, this will summon shadowy creatures that are used by the Gloaming Court for travel. They can technically be killed, but they will always be reconstituted within the Feywild and will come back. They will look different, likely each time. I have heard that it's possible to form bonds over time, but I have not tested that theory myself. I prefer to travel through plants. Any other questions?
Will someone select a train?
Somebody should likely man the reins. The creatures are about as intelligent as horses and will be able to manage as such.
What was the word that we had? What's the magic word?
Yeah. You know what? Pearson goes, he like wiggles his fingers. No, it's tour.
Like Tour de France?
Tuir. Tour. Which is do you fucking move?
Whatever the language the animal is.
I mean, it's essentially go. Yeah, in Sylvan.
No. So yeah.
Yeah.
Speak Sylvan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say fucking tour.
Well, you must be holding these for a tour. But he kind of like puts them back on the bench. I would recommend doing it at a time where you're actually intending to use them. It's a bit unnecessary to make creatures just exist.
That's true. So, does it like... Do they get summoned and then they stay? Or is it like a day?
They should stay for about a day, at which point they will disappear. If they're destroyed, they will disappear, and you will need to wait a day to reconstitute them. And so care should be taken with them as much as possible.
So every other day unless we fuck up.
Sorry, go ahead.
What else do you know about this candlestick forest? You mentioned it was full of magical mist. Is it, simply mist for mist's sake, or does it, impact you in a...
Is it sneaky?
Like, is it the Lost Woods?
The mist itself is likely created by the hag purely to obscure vision. It is not something that is in and of itself destructive or harmful. At least, not as far as I know. But if these are active hags within the forest, they could have changed it. They are not the only creatures who are active there as well. So do beware. This is a place that is known to be, at the very least, haunted.
Would I have been there with its proximity at all?
Probably not. This is a place where there's not a lot of gain to be made, with the exception of, and especially because people aren't really traveling from the Magiocracy to the Spire too often.
Right, but I had to at least once.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. From the Magiocracy to the Emerald Spire, at least once, but I could have gone this way.
That's how I presumed you went, because that's the way that most people go.
Yeah.
Since it's so close, since this forest is so close to Thornhome, has Alina heard of it?
Oh yeah. And so you would know, I mean, a couple of things about it. The primary thing is that this is a place where, within the mist, the reason that it's called the Candlestick Forest is that there are these little kind of lights
I
that
definitely
kind of...
would have known. I lived there.
Yeah, I mean, but that doesn't mean that you've been there.
No, but I know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's also almost certainly not a place that you would have been permitted to go, mostly because it's so dangerous and because you don't have the skills to protect yourself.
But he's the
According to the people that would have mattered at that point in your life. So,
More reason.
I would say that for you, Alina, make a history check and make it at advantage.
Oh, we got a wheel.
History is a skill that I have. I rolled a 14.
A 14. You would know the reason that it's called the Candlestick Forest are these little kind of glowy lights that off in the distance can look like flickering candles. Oftentimes, these are not will-o'-the-wisps, which are other things that can actually appear there sometimes as well. These seem to almost be illusory in nature, and it seems like there are different theories about what it is that's causing it. There are people that say that the ghosts themselves are like creating this sort of lure that will pull people along. There are others that say that there is a more demonic entity that is at fault, and then there are people that just say it's these hags, although the hags are relatively new.
Bunch of gosh darn hags.
There are also people who inexplicably blame this on kobolds, who have really not been seen here in any amount of time. But yeah,
One dude who blames them on gibbets.
it probably has similar background. Yeah.
Do you know anything? So you said that it's known to be haunted. So like, do you know what creatures haunted by? I mean, ghosts, obviously,
Ghosts.
but like,
Mostly ghouls.
any tips for defending ourselves and fighting ghosts?
Yes, do not become possessed. It's very unfortunate to have to destroy your friends. And for most of you, you don't magically reconstitute within the Feywild.
How does one prevent themselves from being possessed?
Usually like divine magic.
Divine magic would certainly be helpful. Making sure that you are able to keep the undead away, perhaps turn them around, that would certainly be helpful. But more than anything, having the wisdom to just avoid them, I think, is what would be the most helpful.
That's gonna be a problem.
That wisdom would really save you, I think.
Billy's wondering if she has any knowledge of this hag coven.
For Billy, make a history check make a flat history check.
Dirty 20.
A dirty 20? No. But I would say Billy, there's something that like
Our rival
Billy
football team.
Billy's starting to get kind of like a distracted appearance, and you've seen this a couple times before. Almost like maybe they heard something.
Oh dear. Okay.
How's Minka looking through all this?
Very fidgety for sure.
More so than usual fidgety?
Yeah, definitely. Especially since she doesn't have her staff anymore. She has nothing to do with her hands, except for excessively pull out her own hair. So there's a lot of this.
Noted.
Sorry.
Well, shall we get moving then, I guess?
It seems like Minka would like to.
Alright. I'll take the I'm not gonna say the word, but the things where I have to say the word.
Okay.
The reins. That's the word that I was thinking.
I was having a lot of trouble with it. Before, I couldn't think of the word for Valentine's Day.
For some reason,
What did I call it?
Like,
You called it Halloween for lovers.
Oh man, it's been a long week.
One last thing. I forgot to offer this to Prince Basare, but they have gates within the mountain, and I pull out like one of the glowing garnets. These were the keys to them. Might be easier for him to open the doors around the mountain with these. Is there a way that you can get this to him?
I certainly can. It will take some time,
Okay.
but I can.
Alright, so I'll hand them one of the glowing garnet.
Okay.
did we tell
keys.
him about the giant? I'm gonna pull. Well, as we're leaving, I'll be like, here's some. I have just a moment with you.
Yes.
I saw the giants when they were leaving. They seemed to be heading, well, if they were on the same plane, in the direction of the dragon's forces to the north. And I don't know, did we mention?
They came to the material plane.
No, but they had been building ships for Glacial Duneth.
Ah,
So I don't know, but they may be going towards there.
well, I'll keep an ear out.
And
But I'm confused as to how they made their way there.
well, they were making ships and they were leaving on those ships. So, given that they were making them for Glacial Duneth, I don't want to assume, but I think you can deduce that one of the places they could potentially be going is towards Glacial Duneth. Again, with the aforementioned ships that they were building for the Red Dragon?
Yes, especially because these ships seem to be able to transverse planes.
Well, I didn't see them transverse the plains.
So they likely did not, which means they are probably headed towards the Kingdom of Late Summer, which is due north in the Feywild.
Alright, well, the more you know, I guess, then. But I thought you might want to know because a large force of fire giants allying themselves with an already amassing force of legendary Red Dragon seems like a potential issue for a lot of people down the line, including yourself.
I would be much more worried if they had sailed south, truthfully. But I'll keep an ear out, as I said. Thank you, Ori.
Why south?
Are you asking?
Why south?
The Vermilion House of Glass Scales is a dragonborn house of traditional artisans that were forced into that path because they were ousted from their previous kingdom. Right. And if they allied themselves with the giants or with Glacial Duneth, even worse, that is a formidable magical ally that they would have on the Feywild side. And that is something that I would certainly take note of.
All right. Well, I would consider that a possibility, and maybe send someone to check up on that.
I have a contact in the Kingdom of Late Summer, but the Summer Genasi do not really have much of a fondness for fire giants. They'll find no friends there.
All right. Well, fair enough. Thought you might want to know, but guess we'll see you in a few days, hopefully.
Is there something that I should be looking for? I've found this item for Alina, and nobody asked me for anything.
I guess if it...
Ori pulled him aside, so this is...
sorry. I thought you was on the rest of us.
Well, if you hear anything about my sister, I would appreciate that.
I was thinking more in line of a magical item, but I can certainly do that. And in fact, you are heading in the direction of your sister, so...
Right. I don't have anything in mind, but, I mean, you're obviously well-versed in magical items, so if you see something that you think would benefit us as a group...
Who do you think would need it the most?
I think anything that you get for any of us will help all of us.
Ori, it's just you and me here. Who amongst this group is the weakest? Who could benefit the most?
Oh, yes, great and magical Ori.
You don't have to say yourself.
I think we all have our own unique skills, so it's hard to really compare.
You've been spending a lot of time talking to Valis.
Well, he's a good person to have around. So,
well, if you have no requests, I'll just see what strikes my fancy then.
That seems
stands up,
reasonable.
Begins to kind of move off. So he begins to walk away. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before he does?
Thank you.
Okay.
I do not say thank you.
No problem. He turns and he says, "Thank all of you. You've done a good job." And he makes his way off.
As we're pulling ourselves together, noticing that Minka seems to need something to do with her hands, I'm gonna fish out that puzzle box, the U-Hex puzzle box that I've been carrying around with me. I imagine it to be a decent fidget.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I hand it to her and just go,
"Can you open this for me?"
I think so.
You can just shift these pieces around. Yeah. Just pieces of it, like, kind of trailing Minka.
It's like a chunk that's shorter than the rest for now.
There's a lot of blue stuff on the ground.
Bits of it tangled up in your fingers.
So, if you open the doors to the stagecoach, you would see... within there are 2 comfortable couches of dark green satin with matching cushions that feature sewn outlines of fallen leaves and copper thread on one side. each of these couches probably could comfortably fit 3 people. And there's a little table that kind of folds out between them that can also be put up onto the wall between the 2 windows opposite the door. The door itself is a single larger window, and all 3 of these windows can be covered by a heavy, dark golden curtain. The driver's bench can seat up to 2 people. This seems to need somebody, or at least would definitely benefit from somebody being up here.
I'm gonna sit there.
It has a set of magical black reins. There are studded grommets of ivory on them, and as you've kind of heard already, you can use these once per day to summon these shadow steeds.
Do you have like a printout of this item?
No, no, I thought about it literally like as I was printing this out, my notes, I was like, oh, this would probably be a good item card. But I'll make one for you.
It's fine, I remember all of it.
Okay. This is true.
All right, I'm gonna hold. Is everyone getting in?
Yeah.
I need to thank Crispy. Make runs in and finds Crispy.
Okay. You can see Crispy has a whole bunch of glasses and he's like lining them up on the bar, and he looks up and he goes, ah. Hi.
I would like to thank you for lending us your pickaxe. It came in very useful.
I know, it's a good pickaxe.
It is.
Why wouldn't it?
Right? So,
No doubt.
we still have it. Since we were going to go head towards some mines, we weren't sure if it was okay to continue to borrow it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not really mining much these days.
Well, you never know. It's always good to have one.
Minding your own business.
Hey.
Well, you know, I appreciate that. Thank you. I wish more people were as thoughtful as you. You know what? Hang on. And he goes and kind of hops down from his bench, and he goes downstairs, and you can hear his rustling around. And it's probably like a minute or 2 that it takes, but then you hear dun, 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 and he comes up, and he is hauling up just a huge bag of potatoes, several different kinds. You can see some that are kind of like a little bit more of like what you would think of as a potato, some that are kind of more purple in tone and seem to be almost weirdly spherical. There's a couple different species in here, but Crispy says, now it's not much for flavor, but if you're going deep underground, potatoes stay fresh and they last a long time, and you can do many things with them.
Thank you so much, Crispy. That's so thoughtful of you.
Well, they're going bad in probably about a month, so
Maybe I can borrow some. You'll just kind of like...
it's you can see like a little bit of moisture at the bottom, just like a little bit.
While we're heading towards the west, do you need anything from that side of the continent?
Not really. I'm friends with Hearsome.
True.
Thank you.
Bring you back a souvenir.
Yeah. So you kind of like awkwardly like brings the sack of potatoes back to her.
Somebody goes, I have to go thank Crispy. Runs back, and then like 3 minutes later comes back with a huge bag of potatoes.
You need a hand with that?
Alina raises an eyebrow, but then opens the mouth of the bag of holding.
No problem. Potatoes now in the inventory. You can add roughly 50 pounds of potatoes to your inventory.
Is there like a driver's slot to open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Probably open that up and sit on the front.
Okay.
Sorry, where are you sitting?
I'm sitting in the driver's
seat?
bench.
I'm also going to just sit in the driver's bench.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So,
what kind of check is it for land vehicle attribute wise?
so this is it's literally. I'm sorry. What is the question?
What type of attribute?
I'm picking up the reins.
To make like a land vehicle check,
Yeah.
What attribute do you add to that?
So typically that would be for like these are still animals, and so this is still an animal handling check. If you are proficient in the tools, you can make that an advantage. The tools. If you're proficient in land vehicles, you can make it an advantage.
Efficiency in land vehicles.
I have proficiency in land vehicle.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I just call upon my Eladrin ancestors to remind me how it works, and then.
Did they have cows back then?
Huh? Do they have what?
What?
Take a quick driver's test.
But yeah, I can come up here and help drive.
All right, well, you wanna...
Cheshire's laying down on a pole bench
Okay.
himself in the back.
Which leaves Billy, Alina, and Minka scrunched in on the other side.
It's not terribly scrunched. I mean, it's sized for 3 people, and like it, you know, it really is like a pretty luxurious stagecoach.
We ready to go?
Or he says nothing happens, and then he uses the real word. I did use the real word. It's you whip the reins, and all of a sudden, the entire space around the front of the stagecoach grows darker, and it's like the dust kind of rattles up, and it casts a shadow on the ground, and the shadow almost emulsifies. It becomes real and grows up and up and up. And standing there, you can see one very shadowy-looking elk and one horse, each about the same size, in this sort of semi-real bridle.
Steady aim, shoot.
Do you want to?
No. We'll see how indestructible they are.
I love that. I love that. So, with that, as you are departing, are you going to make your way kind of out through the streets? You're on the Warm and Welcome Way, and so, I mean, it's a straight shot out.
Yeah, I think I would probably make my way out.
Okay.
It's time to go.
No problem. You pull out and, sorry?
Oh, I said haste.
Taste, yeah. So you pull out. Have some happier just for this travel. Okay. As you are departing, you make your way down the Warm and Welcome Way, the wheels moving very smoothly across the cobblestones, almost like they aren't even touching it. These creatures, as they lead this through, almost naturally part the crowd. People stand aside, and there's whispering, and people point. This is certainly a spectacle. But as you make your way out, you eventually reach the archway. You pass underneath the huge statues that form the doorway to this huge crystalline structure. And is there anything that you guys are doing before you leave? Okay.
We're moving.
You make your way, and it's relatively busy. It's like afternoon on a Tuesday, and so people are like traveling to and from the area that you guys are all going to. And actually, interesting thought. So, what way are you all going?
So I think I would have a general sense of which direction, at least to get out of the city and then head back in the direction of the Magiocracy, right?
Yeah, so there's 2 major paths that you could take to the Magiocracy. You could sail across Lake Darkana, which you guys have done.
Right.
And you happen to know that the group is not at camp probably at the moment.
Right.
And then you could also take the Woodcarver's Way south and then wrap around, and that would bring you to the Candlestick Forest.
Right.
That was what
And
Hearson
Folger
recommended,
Fields.
right? The woodcarvers.
I think he mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, actually, Alina, you know, because you and Billy took that path, or not necessarily always, but you also know of a game trail that runs roughly parallel to that, and it would take a little longer, but it would take you off the road itself if you wanted to go in a little bit more discreet manner. And so you guys do have that option, and you have game trails roughly to Thornholm and back, and so you guys can stay hidden if you ever wish.
Okay. With that knowledge, Alina's gonna like lean in the the window, like, hey.
The horn's like, oh.
Should we be trying to keep a low profile, or should we just stay on the main road? Because I know a path that we could.
Speaking, it would be good to keep a low profile because we don't know who might be following.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay,
what were
so-
you saying? You know of a path?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's kind of my stomping ground. So hold on, is there space in front for a third person to sit?
Like, not comfortably, but
Okay,
like,
so Alina climbs through
there you go.
Oh, hello.
and wedges herself in between the boys and is like,
So Val has already one cheek and on the edges there.
yeah. And Alina's like, I can help navigate.
All right. Well, it's probably gonna take a while, so why don't you sit back down and you just tell us which way?
She is sitting down.
Well, like,
Oh, is this not?
It's a little crowded now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And up on the knees.
It's like way harder to go back in. Yeah. At first, you're just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be easy. Oh, okay.
The tail is whacking you in the face. Like,
Accidentally kicks Ori in the head.
yeah, like talk
Well,
about
I'm
regretting
bleeding out.
spaghetti, like, this has happened.
There's a moment where like a cat goes into something that's just a little bit too high for them, and the legs split out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Alina will keep an eye on the road and give directions as needed to go on the game trails.
No worries. So you make your way down towards the area that you had been to previously, knowing that you need to take the slightly longer route instead of the tower stairs. You have to kind of take the path that leads down and around. But the first part really takes you through pretty familiar territory. You pass bustling crowds of elves, humans, dwarves, all manner of people.
It's getting to like the city outskirts.
Yeah, you are like passing out of the outskirts now, really.
Okay.
And into the actual fields themselves.
I assumed we were already
Towards
gone.
the
I
towards
didn't
the
realize I was
forest
doing
on
that
the
when we were
You're heading towards the Heliodor Wood now. Yeah. So
Let us know when we start to leave the city.
you are leaving.
We have
you've
left the city.
We outside the city now?
Yeah.
Okay. I propose a toast.
I don't
Beer or wine?
know.
What?
4K no
Beer
those
or wine?
Fellas,
You got beer or wine?
I don't think this is necessarily the best time for a toast given the situation.
Shut up, Ori!
As much as I would like to.
We do have to like actually talk about that, don't we?
Talk about what?
Okay.
Well, where we're going. And
Yeah. Is that something you want to do now?
We do that?
I mean, we can. Because you guys seem to be a little misinterpretive. I didn't grow up in Darkbriar. I'm from near there, and I'm just concerned with the mine collapse. I don't know how much you guys know about, like, the Darkbriar mines.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Do I know anything about the Darkbriar mines?
Make a history check at advantage.
Fucking
Where did you grow up in?
11.
The Blackfriar, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, the Enclave.
I rolled 2 9s.
So,
Right, because...
interestingly, you know very little about it, save for the fact that the Magiocracy's sole quote-unquote military power, the Embersworn, are there.
Right, because they're near the Tower of the Amber Wing.
Perhaps.
And, well, Matt remembers this, so Ori remembers it. Because there's a lot of baddies over in that area, specifically because of the mines. And so the largest forces of military might.
It would truly take a lunatic to live somewhere like outside of the limits of Blackvein within the caves. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a little. I didn't want to bring it up before, but it's a little strange for someone like of your disposition to be so near there.
We have like our own little home, you know, and plenty of people come through, oddly enough.
Okay.
And you can see the beetle train from top of the cliffs, and that's pretty nice.
I've always wanted to ride the
Ooh,
beetle
I would
train.
love to see the Beetle Train.
But really what I'm concerned about is the actual mines themselves are very well run. You know,
Right.
some of the
Very
best-
strict business, though.
Yeah, yes, some of the best. Some of the best gems in the continent come from there, and specifically unique magical gems. You know, which is why it's so heavily guarded. And if they had such a catastrophic collapse with all that, I'm just worried about the stability of the area.
Right.
Best case scenario, was a poorly planned dig, and they just collapse the mine on themselves.
But that
That's-
doesn't seem likely.
No, it doesn't. And with, you know, everything happening and the Onyx Tower, the Onyx Spire being so nearby, I just...
The guy said something about sticky? Stinky? I don't know, one of those.
Sticky what?
Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's very near the Underdark. You know, the mines tend to go deep enough.
It's definitely sticky.
Would there be any creatures that I would have
Prefer
known
them
about
sticky.
that
I don't know.
would be categorized as sticky? That would also be like, because again,
Maybe sticky icky.
right,
Make a nature check.
player Matt is thinking like driders and steeders.
Make a
and
nature
shit.
check.
Do I get my
Steeders.
nature
They were our
bonus?
friends.
Until we get them.
Yeah,
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Hey, 15.
a 15. When you think about like cave dwelling creatures that are sticky, I mean, yeah, spiders come to mind. You've been inside of an ooze, and so of course you know about those, and you'd
It wasn't
imagine
really sticky so much as kind of tingly and burning.
you stuck in it. And I would say with your role, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that really does come to the forefront of your mind. You have heard of, creatures that use appendages that are quite sticky to like trap individuals.
Oh, like octopodes.
Yeah, sure. The cave octopi. There are not mystics, God. Mimics. They have a tongue that is also quite sticky, and they do sometimes dwell in caves. But outside of that, not really.
Oh, and the stalactite things too, right?
Maybe.
All right.
So I'm mostly just concerned because the Enclave is near enough, and they don't have the same protection from the Amber Swarm. In fact, potentially the opposite.
Have they
I'm worried about them.
have they done something to get on the Amber Swan's bad side?
No, but they're not exactly happy with the idea of people just kind of living
Mining.
so close.
Right, right. That all tracks based on my knowledge of that particular area of the Magiocracy.
So I just want to check in, and if there is a major collapse because of the Onyx Spire, or because of something coming up from underneath, I just want to make sure that either it gets taken care of or we can do something to protect them, because the Enclave is a unique group of people, but I wouldn't call any of them adventurers in the strictest sense.
Right. Alright, well,
Maybe it was stinky.
Well, I trust your instincts. If you think that it is worthwhile to check it out, we should check it out.
And we can swing by Thornholm?
Yeah, I mean, if we have a reason to, like I said, it's not quite time for me to go back. I mean, I don't
What does
think
what does that mean?
What?
When you say it's not quite time for you to go back?
Oh,
what
I'm
does that
spreading the
mean?
good word of Sir Nunos. When we come of age, we leave for 3 years and go spread the good word of Sir Nunos, and then we're allowed to return.
Well,
You're
I must tell you,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Is she though?
Well,
Oh,
I
when we
don't.
first met, she told me a lot about Sir Nunos. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I met
Is
a
everything
tree
okay?
one time that tried to teach me about the Allfather.
Alina kind of like makes eye contact with Billy, and then she's like, yeah, I don't think I need to go back to Thornholm right now. I can get back some other time.
Okay. Do you guys still want to go through the candle?
Well, yeah, I mean
that's-
we gotta fight hags. We gotta kill hags, right, Billy?
okay.
Billy's like,
That's gonna slow us down a bit,
Like such
I
a
would imagine.
pain.
Perhaps we do that on our way back?
Do what on the way back?
Visit
The forest.
this forest filled with hags.
I think we should do
Well,
it on the way.
would it
'cause
take longer to go
sometime-
around the forest? I don't know. It's
I've noticed that sometimes when we return from places, we don't always go the way. that we
Right, but that's
returned.
also because we were in a places
That's
that you
not
don't
true.
do.
The volcano we went in one way, we went out the exact same way.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
She's right. We did once come back the way we came.
Well,
Didn't
also
we do it another time?
we
too?
did, yeah, we did from the woods actually, which
Oh Yeah.
And actually, at about this point, you all make your way to the area that is the equivalent to the bottom of that stairway tower. And you can see the Heliodor wood spreading out before you, this huge glowing orb that kind of casts a light down on top of it, allowing these trees to artificially grow tall.
It's the other woods. I was like, I'm gonna get to see my boy.
No, Yupple's the other way.
Yupple!
Out in front of you,
I knew he was north.
you can see beautifully well-laid wooden tiles that create what is known as the woodcarver's path. And right around here, you can see there's still a good amount of traffic, many coming from the woodcarver path direction. You can see all manner of people, and there are people that are coming who are merchants. You can smell like cooking steak, and you can see people who are like selling little glass bottles, which like quite valuable actually. Many of them look a little bit chipped and cracked. But at this point, you sort of need to decide on a direction to go. You could take the woodcarver's path. Alina, you know of this game trail. And then also, you are roughly at the point where if you wished, you could head to Lake Tarkana. That's just, you know, a couple hours to the west. To the west, yeah.
I vote game trails.
Which path is quicker?
The woodcarver's path is like laid wooden tiles, and so the wheels would go, you know, it's a laid road.
If that path is quicker, I can understand the neat reason for stealth, but what are we stealthing from?
Oh, bandits.
Right.
And also,
goblins,
if we're
general
approaching a forest
miscreants.
that's full of hags, they probably
do have some sort of eyes.
A giant moving box. It's hard to miss.
Right.
Yeah, we are pretty sticky outy.
Yeah. So
I mean,
just
if we could handle bandits and
clip-clop.
goblins and better us than any other.
Will you bring it onto the woodcarver's path?
the
Well,
hags, though.
If I continue moving, have we set a path, or can I keep moving and?
You're now at a place where you need to
okay.
decide
Then
if
I'm
you're going
not
to go off
yeah,
and take the
then
game
I'm not
trails, you
moving
can.
yet. If we've clip-clopped up to that point, then I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, so there's like a wooden cobblestone road that will, or wooden cobblestone. There's a dirt and cobblestone road that leads to Lake Tarkana. You guys have been there
There's
before.
the little rickety sign.
And then there is this like very, very finely carved wood tile path that goes off into the south.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't see a reason for stealth, but if y'all want to take the game trails, I am happy with that decision. Does anyone oppose taking
makes
the game trail?
no difference to me.
And Alina, of course, there are like things that people hunt on the game trails, and so there are dangerous things on the game trails as well. You know about black bears. I would say you have a pretty good idea that there are wolves as well.
There's lots of animals along the game trails.
Make a nature check, Alina. Make it an advantage. You've been there before.
12.
Yeah.
So my understanding that we will be taking the game trails directly into the Candlestick Forest. Is that correct?
No.
So you would be taking the game trails. Give me one moment here. Roughly to an area called the Akimaran Pass. And this is an area where you can traverse through an area that is known as Root Creep, which is so called because it is a place where the forest walks. And then from there, if you want to go north and towards the actual Candlestick Forest, you would wrap through the Exocratian foothills, past the Aguardian Stone. And I would say, Ori, you know that the Aguardian Stone has an individual that you are probably on good terms with.
The Aguardian Stone.
The Aguardian Stone is a place where just a little bit to the south, there's an individual named Roastmaster Erdon Rotenose, and they're a bugbear that, yeah, I mean, they're a Roastmaster. They specifically roast grains, and they're an individual who you have probably befriended, as they're not terribly friendly towards the Magiagasti establishment, though they love the lands themselves.
All right, and they're like south of the Candlestick
forest.
Yeah, and
Now
so
that I'm
Kind of.
looking
you
at
can actually see their house near the Agordian Stone itself, on the shores of Lake Tarkana, a little closer to the Emerald Spur. Wait, where's my little thing?
here.
Oh, I left my pointer upstairs.
There's a house here.
Well, we just.
There's a house here.
No, because this is the forest, so it's going to be in this
It's
area.
before the forest.
It's south of.
So you can see where your pen is right now. Go down to the south a little bit. Right there is Root Creek. And you
Yeah.
can see the Akimaran Pass is labeled right there, right underneath your pen right now.
Yep.
Alana?
Yep.
Actually, let me pull up.
So from my understanding, these game trails through the Heliodor woods.
They'll lead you all the way to the Akimaran Pass.
Yeah. So
Cut through like
Or we could
this.
stop there and go to Erdarms.
so we should just. I think we should maybe think one step at a time. If the next step is the Acumen
I'm heading
Pass,
towards
I don't
Erdons.
see a reason to take stealth because we are far from the Candlestick Woods.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't have the map in my head.
And so the Execration foothills are those kind of like hills that are just a little bit to the west of that big mountain and the kind of chain around it. Yep. And then where you are eventually heading is the Candlestick Forest, which is just right there.
Nope.
It's a wonderful map.
Thanks.
Do we have in game a copy of this map?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, any map that I give you guys
have-
is presumed that you have
I've
an
pulled it
in-game
out
copy.
and we're sitting at.
Ah,
I believe you. I think maybe you even got this. I think you guys got this before Diatrace even, but he had a
Yeah.
globe.
all right. Take us to the woodcarver's path. And while he does it, I'm gonna give him tips from my Eladrin land vehicle proficiency.
Okay.
Hold the reins. Hold them harder. Go like this.
You're holding them wrong.
You gotta go
Outside.
10 and 2.
So if you're taking the woodcarver's path, you don't even need to make a check. It's
wood.
It's a wooden road, and so it's not like you're traveling over bumpy rocks. You're not having any real difficult terrain. Really, what you probably want to do is, I would say, Valis and Ori, because the two of you are on
Keeping
that bench,
eyes.
make perception checks.
Keeping eyes out for bandits.
You do pass individuals.
Whenever she's not speaking, she's humming.
Okay.
Is it the same tune?
24.
24. Ori.
Damn, that's crazy.
An hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, and the forest is passing over on the side, just dark, and you can hear a few birds here and there. There's nature. It's not especially ominous. It's actually quite a nice day out. You smell before you see this individual or the stuff that they are bringing. You smell green onion. You smell honey. You smell the scent of cooking meat. And then down the road, you can see there is a large cart that is almost like a huge metal cylinder that is smoking from the top, and it is being pulled by a very broad donkey. It's not tall; it's just quite broad.
Squat.
Yeah, it's a squat donkey. It's a squat donkey.
It's a wide ass.
Yes. Wow. I wish I could take credit for that. But yeah, that is now the species name, the Everest white ass. But yeah, you can see that, and as they are like passing by, you can see like they're hanging off the side. It says dwarf, and he's talking to an individual, and he's like pulling out these little skewers of meat and giving them to him, and you can hear him actually saying, "Well, no, I made it through, but not everybody did. There's bandits on the path, you know." And like as they're like walking by, you hear that there is actually bandit activity
Excuse
on this
me?
path.
Did you just say bandits on the path?
They're like going in the opposite direction, and so he turns and goes, "I did.
How far?
How far ahead?
Probably about a day, give or take."
Thank you.
Thank you. Safe travels.
You see, like waves a skewer of meat.
Food trucks.
The traditional greeting of the day with your meat
Yeah.
at the other person.
That's a whole different kind of greeting. So you all make your way, and
That was only.
you do
on
hear
Dominion.
that there are bandits that are kind of on the road, but you definitely get that little heads up.
We can hold our own against bandits.
Open
certainly.
open the little door. There's bandits about a day's travel ahead.
By the way, everyone.
I shut the window. You gotta open it again.
I could go for a beating up some bandits, release some stress.
Well, there's no bandits immediately around.
Got about a day.
Cheshire found these books and gave them to me, and
You've been reading?
some of these I'm always reading. That's my secret. I'm over
Even right now?
As he's talking and reading it, one eye on the book, one eye on all of us. It's very upsetting.
Some of these might mention topics that might interest some of you. This one mentions the Magiocracy, a little bit about Black Fang. You might want to take a look at that.
Do you want to read this?
Probably shouldn't read while you're driving.
This one mentions
It says change.
a little bit of Dominion, something about the astral eclipse. Does anyone know what that is?
Right, the astral.
I think we all know it. It's the there's no
above-
sunshine.
Yeah, so there is no direct sunlight. The sun filters down through the kind of astral eclipse, but looking up, all that you can really see above Everest is the sort of ever expanding. It almost looks like there's a huge, vaguely purple or green or black gem that always seems like you can just barely see where it begins to curve on the horizon. It's like there's a huge planet that's just above, and it takes up the entirety of the sky. You've seen places. The most recent one was off when you were near the temple, where the eclipse ends, and you can actually see like the sun in the sky. Yeah, you weren't there, but other people here have seen places where the actual sky is. It has an ending point.
And
but yeah.
over the tower,
And Billy,
the crushed blossom.
this one seems to mention
Seafoam.
the Shadowfell. So, I don't know. Feel free to take a look
That
at
tower.
y'all.
Yes.
Billy's sulking. She has stated to me that she's visibly sulking, but Alina will look at her and look at you and then be like,
Anyways, here's some light reading.
Wandering Hearts Book Club.
All right. Well,
Make your way.
Art book's wonderful.
so, do we want to try and do anything to avoid these bandits?
No, we should
kind of feel like
clear the roads of the bandits.
we should beat him up, right?
But
We've been up against much worse recently.
Yeah,
I'm
but they might have stuff on them.
tired.
Well,
I mean, we're not going to see them in probably at least a day.
And truly also though, as you are kind of driving, you're getting like closer into the evening now. It's like 6-7 o'clock, and so it is beginning to get like dark. For those of you who woke up on the earlier side, it is, you haven't eaten since breakfast, and so you're definitely getting to a point where you probably do want to make camp. And so far, you've still been passing pretty steadily people, nobody who's injured or like running away, and so it seems like you're at least a little bit of ways from the bandits so far. But at some point in the next probably 3 hours or so, you want to look for a place to camp.
okay.
Well,
Or maybe you don't. It's not really, it's up to you guys, but I would
I
not
be
have
able-
exhaustion.
We should think about camping soon.
Yeah.
would I be able to continue driving the carriage while people were napping for 4 hours and then switch? So
Yeah.
that Valis and I could basically just each take a shift for 4 hours while everyone long rests, and we get our rests in,
could.
and we can just keep driving the whole time?
You sure could.
Or we can at least try to keep driving?
You sure could.
Driving in the dark, bandits. I mean, I would like to fight the bandits, but we're probably gonna come if we're driving in the dark. It makes it easy for.
Well, no,
I'm
because they're still about a day's
hungry.
ride away.
And I'm
First,
tired.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So Alina pulls out
Well,
the tray, the food. Think about the food, and it's their
Can we
tray.
do that while we're in this vehicle, or should we stop and set up? Like
There's
if
that
we stay on
table.
the path, it's
And then suddenly Cheshire bolts up from where they were laying down on the couch and just slams the table down. And it's this beautiful oaken table that is inlaid with like golden patterns and filigree along the side. And like it almost like shakes elements of that loose, but it settles.
if you all can rest back there, I'm fine to keep moving.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. And so with the table down, Alina's gonna set up the tray, and she's going to imagine just like a simple but filling fare, plenty for all of us.
Sure.
Just
One huge tray of lasagna. Just
We trancing, bro? We trancing up in this bitch?
Oh, I'm gonna go back and eat a little bit. You mind just being up here by yourself?
Oh, that's
and then
fine.
I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna switch
All right,
places
but
with you.
you translate it.
We'll
All right.
translate. But hold on. Is there anything that's like or he can eat while he's still got.
Yeah.
sorry, I've got some-
There's sandwiches on there. Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
It's whatever you imagine.
Like
No,
really
I wanted
good hearty
these.
sandwiches.
Absolutely. Yeah. These are these are sandwiches that are actually like thick cut like elements of steak that are in the middle, like a London broil almost, and there is some kind of a chimichurri on the outside of that, and so
She
it's
imagined-
herbal, but it's salty and it's like charred. It's great.
Like she got it. She got these kinds of sandwiches once at Cora's place, and like it hasn't left her ever since.
Yeah, actually, and Cora even mentioned that they had drawn that inspiration from the Emerald Spire, weirdly enough,
Yeah.
or at least an individual from there.
That's pretty good. All right, well, I'm good to keep moving if y'all want to sleep for a bit, and then
Can the feast table make alcohol?
I can
Yeah, but
alcohol. Hasha.
Technically, it's just food because that is a
Okay.
poison, and so that would be like a different item. class.
Technically, you
even if it
murder
could have,
someone.
she wouldn't have.
Okay.
Sir No Nose is too pure for such things.
In that case, I'm gonna take out
Didn't occur to
my a flask and start pouring myself some beer and ask would anyone else like some.
Yes.
Okay. Beer is passed around, warm, hearty meal, or you're like up there. It's getting a little chillier, like probably about like 70 degrees.
That's cool.
But you got a sandwich and you got your shadow horses. And
I've
people
dealt with worse.
are kind of giving them like a wider berth than they would a typical horse. Yeah, you definitely get some looks. Or make a perception check because everybody's eating and kind of getting ready to go to bed.
15.
15.
My passive is a 19.
That's good.
That helps. It doesn't.
So after I eat, I would go back to the front
Sure.
and offer the takes of reins and hand him a tankard of beer.
Okay.
Since he hadn't had a chance to drink.
Oh, I did.
Oh, very good.
Crispin loaded me up.
Wait, I thought one of you was driving and the other was transing.
Yeah, we're swapping trances, so I still have to go 4 hours into their.
This was more like a meal shift swap.
Oh, I
you know?
gotcha. Okay.
Oh yeah, meal shot swap.
Yeah. When you drive a submersible, like a remote operated submersible, like the shift is 4 hours, but the shift that happens during lunch, like the pilot has to get swapped out for lunch, and so they'll leave for like 20 minutes. It's kind of like that.
We should keep 2 people on watch, so I will be when we actually rest. I'll be on watch with Ori.
Well, you can't be because we need to alternate driving.
Oh, you're right.
That's the whole thing.
I'll climb up and be on watch with
Alright,
Ori
but
since Billy is sulking.
Don't do that until after.
Just tell me when you want me to climb through and I'll do it, okay?
You could also,
Wait,
we
picture
could
again,
stop
I'll
the carriage and get out like a civilized person if you'd like to do that.
How dare you?
Minka?
I think Minka would like to take a nap for a little while.
Okay.
And
Always taking naps.
she
Classic
thinking
Minka.
about the dream that she had.
Yeah.
And just like looking at the map and realizing that we're gonna pass by a place that wasn't in the dream, she thinks. Like, would the drawing of the Ogi ruins seem to match the temple that's the stone step temple?
Sure would.
Okay.
That's a little bit more to the south than you are all intending to go.
Yeah.
But if you were going to Thornholm, I mean, you could probably deviate there. It would be a longer route.
That's interesting.
What's interesting?
Oh, you remember that? You remember the dream I mentioned a while ago?
Yes, very much so.
There was one of the places that I dreamt of here, and she points to the Ogi ruins. There's something here. I don't know what,
But it was in your
something
dream.
about the eclipse, the astral eclipse, probably. I mean, that's what the last dream was about, so it's probably what this one was about.
Should we go there?
At some point, yes, for sure. I don't know right now, but
I know you wanted to go to the Osenlock before. Maybe
Why'd you
that.
want to go to the Awesome Lock again?
just to learn more about my dreams.
Maybe we should wait to go to this particular area until after we've found out more at the Osenlock.
Just curious. Because one of these books did mention that it might be powered.
Powered?
Yeah.
that the astral eclipse is powered, and you think that perhaps maybe there's a mechanism within these ruins that's powering it.
It's possible.
Didn't your owl friend say?
Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinel. Thank you. Didn't he say something about how?
He's also in those books.
I lost my train of thought. He said something about what we did. I totally lost my train of thought. What we did for him was. Help me. It's Alina knows, but
Sorry,
What are you saying?
I'm
Severing the connection in Kielo Tel El Dal
yeah.
was helpful because Sentinel is. I don't know if you know your history, but Sentinel is the one who returned the stars.
He who brought back the stars.
I think that's what I'm thinking about. That's something that he already did before.
Above his tower.
Yeah.
and it's a very small region. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Josh, is that the same song you've been trying to remember?
Yeah, I guess I did remember some of it.
Oh. That's great.
Do you remember what the song was called?
Were there lyrics?
As the sun sets and darkness does fall, he watches and waits for his children to call. And though he was tricked and trapped in a spell, once he's been set free, he'll save us himself. There's more, but I can't. It's not humming.
The he in this story.
Oh.
Well, the only one we know about is trapped in a spell. The spire, right?
You mean the Emerald Spire or the Onyx
No,
Spire?
the Onyx Spire.
The Dome of Alandar? I don't think he is trapped in there.
Isn't that
I recall that
Yes.
he...
The dome is maintained by.
I thought he sacrificed himself to put up the dome, but maybe...
It still needs to
history
be
check?
Yeah, make a history check.
I thought he was trapped in the dome.
Which person?
16.
I have the name.
Mythic?
So a long time ago, there's an individual whose last name was Alandar, who
Nithis Alandor.
what?
Nithis Alandor.
Sure. The
No, that's... I think those are two opposites.
Mythic is the...
you're combining characters.
This is the dark one. Yeah.
Mario Bowser.
That's Woody Lightyear, right?
The wise fool, Alandor.
The what?
The wise fool, Alandor.
Hearsome is known as that.
The book is Nithis.
This is one of those things where you have like the nicknames in one wheel and the names in the other, you're spitting them.
The book is Nithis, Alandor, the wise fool.
Correct.
Yeah, that was a book
But
that
I
we once
read
had.
That was
Nithis
my book.
Alandor, the wise fool.
I like that.
Because I went back to my notes.
I got you.
Alright.
So, I would say with the 16, you know that this individual named Alandor did sacrifice themselves to create the dome itself, using their life force and a tremendous amount of the power that the Divine Court had in reserve in order to create this magical field and contain the darkness within. I would say with that check, you've probably heard of a few other individuals who are trapped in spells. I mean, a pretty popular way to imprison individuals who are too powerful to kill is to trap them. There are several instances
Are any of them fathers? Or
with
like
that check.
that because the song mentioned
Beard?
like
Say again.
Resin beard?
sons or something.
What about
Who is resin
So as far as you know, none of them are fathers.
Okay, none of them have children.
Well, I feel like
Not
Well,
like
children
notably.
could mean like
Or
followers.
followers.
Yeah.
Well, many of them have followers. That's part of why they're imprisoned. I would say with a 16, though, it's kind of hard for you to draw specifics. You know of an individual whose last name is Greyfang, who fled from Dominion like close to 300 years ago during the Greyfang incursion, and they were trapped within a spell. They were actually a werewolf who could create warlocks, and that's part of why they were trapped away.
If you do remember more of the song, I would love to hear it.
Okay. I'm sure I will, because I can't get rid of it yet. It's still there. It's like rattling around and rolling.
Valis.
And
The name Vitas
it's like a little
Adder.
hamster on a wheel.
Yeah.
You ever seen that? Just it's like it's spinning, spinning,
How do you
spinning,
spell
spinning, 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 spinning.
And that's what
Driving
Via.
me.
ADDER.
You know that name.
Okay, well maybe
But
once you like,
Vitalis
remember the whole
Asher?
song.
No.
Vetus Adder is one of the foremost. They're a wandering scholar. They write books about their travels and about. They've been to every continent in Everest, and so the interesting thing about their books is that each one is a one-off. And so they are highly sought after. They're not magical by any means, but the knowledge contained within is almost like on that level.
He was the one who wrote
Just like
Right,
Marie.
he's the one
the
who wrote the book
Nixx,
that Valis,
Alandar and the Wise Fool.
Correct.
The book
Right.
that we once had.
Right.
Subtitle.
He's also technically the author of all of the lore guides to each continent. So he wrote the Dungeoneer's Guide to Dominion. He wrote the
Have I read the Explorer's Guide to Everest?
no,
Okay.
Have I?
Is there?
No.
Where is?
it's a one-off book. It is literally one of them.
Where
And I know
is
where it is.
that book? Is it common knowledge where that book?
No.
Okay, so no one knows where that. Okay, gotcha.
Correct. And
like
so
a holographic
those 7 books in
first
particular, the last, I would say most people know that the last place that they were seen was Dominion. But that's a long time ago.
Okay.
Early Third Age.
So
200s.
Vitas is dead,
I
presumably.
forget how we got to this line of questioning.
You guys took a real deep dive into all of that.
Looking back through my notes.
I think maybe we should mention to hear some that that maybe you think there's something in the Ogi ruins and maybe we can check it out.
There are 2 more places.
think we
Mountains and grasslands.
Necessarily let Hearsome know everything about our happenings, but that's just my opinion.
Right?
I know I haven't been traveling with y'all as long as you have been traveling with y'all. That sounded smarter in my head. But you seem to have quite a bit of distrust for
I was just
our employer.
general.
He does
Hearsome.
say his agenda and his plans. Has anybody ever asked what those are?
Hearsome is not necessarily aligned with the best interests of Everest so much as the best interest of Hearsome and maybe the Fae. Because again, Hearsome is an archfey, and they generally don't really care about what happens to us. And so there's a healthy bit of skepticism that I try to maintain in any dealings with any archfey, generally speaking, especially when I'm being employed by one.
I can see where your suspicion is. And yes, in speaking with him, he doesn't have the same values as us, but
And
some of
he is
his
one.
values, such as protecting the Feywild and the realm,
The realm is
aren't
tenuous.
terrible things.
I don't think he would necessarily care to protect the realm unless it was also aligned with his own personal investments.
And look, nobody cares about protecting the Feywild more than me. So I get where he's coming from on that, because that's kind of my whole thing. But I think we just kind of have been getting the feeling that he's
Not necessarily telling us everything that he knows, and also not necessarily telling us the truth of the things that he does tell us.
Yeah, and
Well,
when we
that's
ask
not
him hard
much.
questions, he usually just
He always tells us the
Steals
truth,
our
but
books.
never necessarily what we want to hear.
He
talks-
doesn't always tell us the
He
truth.
talks around things.
We don't always.
He's not necessarily lying.
I've noticed that we don't always tell him the truth either. So
Well,
by
it's
which
sort of
standards
a
do we?
two-way street. If I find that someone is lying to me, then I'm less trusting as a general rule. So that's
Has he
just
lied to us?
Yes.
What has he lied to us about?
I don't keep a running list, but there
took my
have been a handful of things like that book that you gave to him.
yeah.
That's,
I mean,
he was
we
lying
so
about that. For
we
one.
had a book that
No, I
could
was.
have.
I was there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Valis was there. He gave it to him.
No, that was me.
Well, you gave it to him, but you should have really given it to Valis.
No, well, I was the one that
Okay,
handed it
thank
to
you.
him. But
Mistake.
he asked me if a
Mistakes.
book that he
Right.
And
that's why I asked about Vitas, because that book was written by and pertaining to information about Hearsum specifically that I suspect he doesn't want us to know about.
Well, we know he doesn't want us to because he took the book.
Right. And that's why I said suspect.
Look, maybe once you travel with us more and you have more dealings with him, you'll come around to the way of thinking that
I just think
perhaps
a healthy bit of skepticism in all aspects of your life doesn't necessarily hurt.
Okay.
Especially when you're dealing with Archfey. Especially Hearsum.
Just be more
Not
worried.
necessarily. Mostly Hearsum. Just because he's the one who, again, currently employs us all.
At about this point, you guys are starting to look at exhaustion checks. You know, a couple hours have passed. You've eaten your meals. You've digested them. You've now talked a little bit about a lot of things. Are you looking for a place to camp? Or are you just gonna
I was going to
push
keep
through?
going
Okay.
so that, because I have 4 hours, I'll be like, Valis, you should get some rest.
So right now it's just Alina and Ori.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Alina and Ori make a perception check as the rest of the group settles down as comfortably as you can within the couches of this cart.
Do you want to go first? Should I?
Can I have advantage?
No.
I got a 5.
Okay.
28.
Okay.
I feel like there's a tendency whenever we're both on watch where you're like, I'm going to be on watch.
So Cerninos just immediately starts talking about Cerninos. But
Not anymore.
yeah, not so much anymore. Alina, as you're kind of
Cerninos ended.
traveling, that song that Cheshire was kind of singing, it does stick in your head, and that makes it really hard for you to pay attention. But for you, Ori, it's not. The traffic does begin to die down and wane. You stop passing people after a certain amount of time, and it really is getting darker. And so right now is like about when you would be typically camping, were you not pushing through. But you hear natural sounds outside, birds, insects, and there isn't anything that is especially dangerous. For your watch, for the first 4 hours, there's no significant happening. You are going to sleep after 4 hours, and Valis is taking over?
I'm trancing after 4 hours.
Yeah, and I
Forgive.
probably would wake up someone else to watch with me and
Okay.
let Alina sleep. So
Because Alina would have had to sleep after 2 hours, and someone else would have had to wake up to keep watch during the other 2 hours because they need more rest than we do.
that's true.
Yeah.
You gotta take into account that these are some
Staggering.
lame people.
You gotta stagger.
We do not trance.
Yeah.
We not trancing. We
So
sleep
they
in.
need to rest for longer. So they need to alternate who's keeping watch with us. But it still works because they just need like a 2 hour increment of keeping watch.
Okay.
So for the
it's
second
up to the
half
second.
of the first half, 2 quarters.
This is why I don't do puzzles for you guys anymore. So
Is this one?
It's gone forever.
I learned that with the dragonflies, the only puzzle that you guys need is seating arrangements. So eventually you correctly solve the puzzle.
All right, so if you sleep for 3 hours and then get up for half an hour and go back to
Valis, make a
sleep.
perception check. That's all I needed this information for.
Well, actually, no, it would have been.
17.
Okay.
12. I think I'm just too distracted by Ori trying to tell me when I'm supposed to wake up and when to sleep.
Or he's kind of like murmuring the whole time that he trances, and so it does make it a little distracting. But luckily, Valis is paying attention.
You also-
And Valis, you kind of clock, and Ori probably passes on to you that the traffic has kind of died down a little bit.
The traffic's kind of died down a bit, so I think we're getting closer to where we might run into some trouble. So just be on your guard there.
And certainly as the hours tick by. Yes?
Oh, it's on him.
We were saying good night.
As the hours tick by and it gets a little bit closer to morning, you do reach a place where your ears suddenly perk up because it's really quiet. And as you approach an area where the kind of fieldstone walls get especially sparse and you can really see the forest off to either side, because it is 8:45, this is where we're going to take a quick break. And then we'll come right back. So thank you for sticking with us so far. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. There's a counter on your screen, and we'll see you in
Probably not going to
just
fight bandits.
a little bit. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Courts of Everest. Thank you for sticking with us through the break if you did. Welcome to our D&D game if you are just joining us now. We're going to jump right back into some D&D. So, Valis and Minka. Valis and Minka, the two of you, because of beige dinner,
Some beige.
we have a whole oven of beige right now.
Can I say something to Minka while we're on watch?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the sandwich. It was very good. I'm gonna have it and then I'm gonna take my chance.
I just
If you don't mind me asking, the item that you took from Sade, what made you decide to do that?
Oh, well, it's a star map. It outlines, actually, apparently outlines the astral sea. I just want to know more about stars, and I just wanted to really look at it more. But my request to have it, Cheshire heard, and then Cheshire got it, and then I got it, and then we realized we couldn't read it, and then by the time the guild ate me alive, Sade was gone. And now it just sits like a rock in our pack, because now that we can read it, we haven't been able to because it's so tiny. The words are so tiny.
Interesting.
That's a very good answer.
yeah, I mean you're caught up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just give it back to her, I would. But now I feel like the only way we're getting it back to her without immediate death is if we also do whatever she wanted it for. And I don't know, map it out. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
A problem for future us.
Fuck those guys.
Thank you for
Saying that too often.
So you make your way to the point where the night sounds kind of die down. The insects begin to get a little quieter. The birds are almost completely stopped. And with your perception check, Valis, you do note that in these little low-lying fieldstone walls, there are a number of individuals kind of hiding, and there are a few who are like looking in your direction. You see one of them like really stick their neck out, and you see like glints off of very basic elements of like leather-studded armor, but they're definitely waiting to ambush from both sides of the road. You count with your check probably like 3, but you see them like looking behind them. There's probably more.
How far away are they?
At the moment, like you spot them a good 100 feet away, but you're getting closer with every passing second.
I open the door and I tell everyone to wake up, and ambush is 80 feet away.
Okay.
That's so specific.
I would have been still sitting on the bench
Okay.
because I don't want to sit in the carriage.
You wake up on the bench.
In there,
I
probably.
cast Bless on
Or doesn't like carriages.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. You cast Bless on whom?
That's a good question. Second level.
And so we'll pause with you guys. Well, would some visual perspective be helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this. Yeah.
And it's
No. Maybe it's a band. That's a what? A band. Like it's just a bunch
Maybe
of bars.
it's a band.
period.
They're coming to learn about Minka the Malicious.
Hey guys, you going to battle the birds? Oh boy.
Oh.
Wait.
I got this side. Thank you. I got this side.
Ooh. I see you have a reinforced cardboard.
Yeah, I have several different things that I can use. Well, this is so. Yeah, this I built a while ago.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, Dan built that. That
Oh,
platform,
I
think.
got you these.
Ooh.
You did, yeah. You and Olive have actually provided quite a. I have so many wood ships back there.
Yeah.
You have a mini for our cart.
I don't yet. It's coming. It hasn't arrived
Or
yet
like,
though.
Just
Put the
is
discount
something.
there.
Oh, just
Which way are we coming from?
Huh?
this
Where are
way.
we coming from?
You guys are
That way.
approaching. Actually, yeah, from that direction. As you're heading south, north is always farthest from me.
Yeah, there you go.
So you and I are
That's the
sitting in the
cart.
front.
This is our
Wait, do you
cart.
guys think
Yeah.
in terms of like
No, wait.
rough sizing?
Actually, no. I think this tray that we're holding the minis on is a perfect representation of the cart
Size is that?
because it holds 3 and 3, like the sofas.
And then for your...
Or he did say he's up front, so they're squished in.
Key transit.
There you go.
I could sit on the. Could I sit on top of the carriage?
Ooh.
Not on top, but you can sit on the bench.
I can't just like sit comfortably on the top.
So at the very, very top, all the ribbing of the
Oh, it's not like a
carriage
flat top.
rises to a single point, and so you could.
Oh, it would just be uncomfortable.
Well, it would either be very comfortable or very uncomfortable. It kind of depends.
Depends on how lumpy the road.
It's about lubrication. There's a lot of factors, but no, you would really want to probably be on the bench.
Or he's used to the rugged lifestyle.
That's
I mean, you probably want to
man's.
duck out of the cart in the shadow and start going into the woods, right?
Yeah, I mean, once I'm untranced, I'd probably
What happened, bud?
try to
I mean,
manage the situation.
You're untrans now because I will.
Going to bring
So
you
I'd probably try to gauge the
Thanks,
situation. Oh, do you want me to take the man's up?
No, I
fucked
got
it up.
him.
Bye,
that
Oreo,
beige?
everybody. Bye,
That
Oreo.
tasty beige. Good beige.
The
Thank you.
beige unleashed him. So you were approaching pretty steadily. Are you guys doing anything other than blessing 3 people?
4 people.
4 people. Very nice. And who are you blessing?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so Cheshire, Ori, yourself.
Everyone but Alina
Okay, everybody but Alina. No
And
problem.
Billy. And
and Billy.
You cast the spell, and Bless just focuses in on each of the people that you mentioned, and the cart draws a little bit closer. When you get to the next kind of tile and you draw over, you can see there is a large log that has been pushed across the road, an entire tree that's really been felled in this place. You can see an area where it's been very cleanly cut, and so this is purposefully done to stop people from traveling. And this is right around where these bandits are gathered. Are you just going to drive straight up there, or are you doing anything?
slow the cart down.
I slow the cart down.
Okay, you slow the cart down.
We don't want to get these creatures in range because they could kill them and then we'd have to walk for a couple days.
Oh, I can lift the cart and we just go over it.
They're still
Yeah,
going to
might-
probably attack. I'm going to try to see how many I can see
Make a perception check.
hidden with my eye for detail.
Valis is like, there's 3 of them.
24.
There's 12 of them.
There's 12 up ahead.
Now, Ori, with that check, you kind of spot that there is about like 6 kind of scattered around on one side, 4 on the other, and then there's 2 that are a little bit further back. For you, what's really sticking out is this is not like a well-armed group. They're almost certainly bandits. You can see just mismatched armor. There's no heraldry. Some of them look a little bit unwashed. And so they're probably pretty hungry, and they're going to be coming for you guys. Yeah.
All right.
I see 12 of them. They look very disheveled, so they're probably going to be pretty desperate. So everyone on your guard.
At about this point, you actually see suddenly one of the shadows detach, and you see like an arm go up, but then they just kind of swat it away and they just walk across. And Valis, you get the sense that they haven't somehow seen you yet. Even being about 100 feet off, they just went over to like go talk to the other group.
All right. I like stop the cart then if they haven't seen us.
Okay. They got a natural 1.
We're in a dark cart.
So we're in a dark
Shadow
car with dark
horses.
horses in the dark.
All right. Here's what I propose. I will sneak ahead And when you see my signal, you will attack. Because there are 12 of them. I'll try to get them all closer together. All right?
What's your signal gonna be?
I'm gonna hit one of them
Okay, that's
in
a
the
good signal.
face with a crossbow bolt.
Okay. I really like that signal. It's really good.
Alright. Okay.
Alright.
I don't think they've noticed us yet.
I can take care of some.
I'm going to pretend like I'm alone so that they all come out.
They probably have good stuff in their pockets.
And then you should all
They're
attack
bandits,
them
they
when
don't
they're
have
grouped
anything.
together
Yeah.
because you're good at doing things when people are grouped together. And I can try to dodge that.
Hey, what
So
if they're
don't worry
not
about me.
bandits?
They are bandits. I can be pretty sure of that based on how they're dressed.
Okay, go.
Alright. I'm gonna start sneaking my way.
Make a stealth check.
Being so judgmental, Ori.
Lost boys.
24.
Okay. So you immediately, as soon as you step off the cart, you just disappear from it. And the horses don't even seem to really react to you, shadowy as they may be. You creep through, kind of stepping through the flowers and the grass, and you can make your way. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna try to sneak around to this side so that then I can get a better view to make sure that I haven't missed anyone in my initial count of heads. And then I'm gonna pretend like I'm a solo traveler coming up this way
Okay.
to kind of catch them off guard.
So you begin to make your way down, and I would say you make it to about like that platform, and then you get to like the back edge of it, and peering around, you can see there is this orc who seems to be part of this group. They're one of the further back ones. They have a long bow, and they have this kind of pulled back. They're squinting, and it looks like they might kind of see something, but they're not quite sure yet. Their bow is like lowered. It's not in a ready position or anything. But you would need to pass by pretty close. There's like a tree line that would make it so that you need to kind
Along
of
this,
tuck in right behind.
kind of like.
Yeah,
right
so you're passing pretty close. You feel pretty hidden, but
Is there a way? Because I know that there's assassin rogue subclass. Is there a way to like knock people out with stealth without like?
dealing the full amount of health damage non-lethally. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a crossbow.
Do you hear what you're saying out loud?
You mean like the butt of a crossbow? What?
Yeah, like that,
No, I
maybe.
guess.
If you
I don't-
had,
like, I
if
don't
you
know
developed
if
a
I don't
special
think I
like
can-
punching glove.
I don't know if I can deal enough damage on one hit to knock this guy out.
I don't think you can do non-lethal with ranged weapon. Is that correct?
No, well, that's why I'm saying
Most,
if I did,
no. I can
if I
think of a few where you got.
did melee, I don't know if my melee. Well, it would be roughly the same, but I don't want to. I'm gonna try to sneak past.
Okay. With a 24, as you creep past, you see, like, you get really close. You're within 10 feet. You can smell this dude. He smells bad. They've been out in the woods for a good amount of time. You haven't really had to experience, like, prolonged periods of unwashedness in this way, but, like, it smells medical. But you see he just kind of picks his nose with his little finger and flicks it away, and you can just walk right by him.
Cool, I do so.
As you do, Ori, this is not the cream of the crop. You're coming up against a bunch of individuals. As you think about, like, could you knock this guy out with one blow?
Maybe.
Almost certainly.
I'm gonna knock this guy out with one blow.
Okay. So first, make an attack roll, and we'll see if we have to roll for initiative here.
At
This
advantage because it is.
Yes, advantage, absolutely. And the one individual who could possibly see is going to make a perception
I'm
check,
gonna
and I'll
do
make
it.
So is that?
I'm gonna use it with the butt of my blade
Okay.
rather than my crossbow, since I need to do melee. That's
Aw,
like a
man.
30 or something.
A 30
Should have
hits,
been
yeah.
a
Should have been a champion.
There's a 19 in there.
Yeah, it's a 28.
So, and this is non-lethal, correct?
Yes.
Roll damage. This is a sneak attack.
Okay. This
I
plus.
feel like Nico is just like,
Micah, what's the signal again?
she's
Oh, nice. All right, so that's gonna be.
Is this that? This doesn't feel like that.
It's pretty dark. I can't see their faces.
20 points of. I guess it does it. Is it bludgeoning as non-lethal?
Well, so is it 20 points of damage?
Yeah.
So this is something that typically, because it's non-lethal, yeah, it's bludgeoning. However, I mean, are you like going and choking this guy out because you're trying to do this non-lethally and quietly, or are you just like hitting him and knocking him unconscious?
Which one is gonna be more?
Probably choking him out.
Yeah,
Quietly.
I'm gonna choke him out.
Okay. So, or you sneak up behind this guy, you see he like picks his nose, and right as he goes to like flick it and he stretches his arm out, you can see his neck is like all the way stretched out.
Bring it back.
Yeah, you
And
just
I cover
wrap.
his mouth so he can't scream.
Sure. You wrap your arm around, you pull it back and wrap your hand around and cover the mouth, and you pull as tight as you can. And very quickly, within like 8 or 9 seconds, this guy just blood chokes out. Unconscious, he drops. And you like hold him, you catch the bow with like the little elements of like 2 fingers free, and you don't even drop that to the ground. You just gently lower him down. No more nightmares, only dreams.
Drag his
The
body
fantasy
around the
equivalent of
corner.
like catching the shala as it comes out of the silence.
Yeah.
All right, and then I continue along my way this way.
Okay. You make your way forward, and as you do, and you get around behind, you can see this orc, and I would say you actually hear in common they yell out, "I really don't think there's anything out there, man. Vented? Look, I said I'm sorry. How long are you going to stay mad? I didn't know it was yours." And he's just like talking to this guy that you just choked out. Doesn't seem to notice this. Doesn't see. He rolled a 4. Doesn't seem to notice that you are like probably within 15 feet, and doesn't seem to notice that the guy he's talking to isn't even there. Is just kind of like talking to the dark now.
I'm starting to feel bad for these guys.
I'm also
A
starting to
little
feel
bit,
bad.
yeah.
Ori is also starting to feel bad for these
I
guys,
said
but
they
is also
might
like,
not be bandits.
No,
Ori
they're
said They're
bandits.
bandits.
they are bandits, but they're bandits
How do
by.
you know?
Well, they're bandits because they're on the side of a road trying to ambush travelers.
What if they're surprise merchants?
But they're. Surprise! We want to sell you shit.
Or you slit his throat, you go through his pockets, coupons. love surprise merchants. That will be campaign 3 for sure. At some point, you will be surprise merchanted. I love that. Oh boy.
So,
Hey, you want to buy some shit?
I'm gonna so I can see what Ori's up to because I have lots of dark vision. So
With Ori's stealth check, probably not. At the moment, you guys haven't seen anything happen yet. You saw Ori disappear and you're waiting.
I'm going. Yeah. I'm gonna send Rez out invisible, nice and high, just to see if he can catch a glimpse of what's going on, just so that we have a better idea. Hey, Rez.
Yeah.
You want to go play Eye in the Sky again?
Yeah, no, I guess I can. This heavy imp wings carry him up, and if you go into his vision, you don't see Ori, very hidden as Ori, but you do see kind of like layered out, almost like their mouth is open, they're drooling against the rock, this orc. You see a number of individuals who are like all hiding behind these trees, kind of talking, and a few seem to be kind of like looking, but nobody's spotted you guys yet.
All right. I'm just gonna give a very, very quietly whispered play-by-play to the group in the carriage.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna start making my way, but I'm not being stealthy now because I'm gonna go. Excuse me. I know you're all here. I can see all of you.
From Rez's vantage point, suddenly there's a huge commotion, like a ripple goes down. Everybody turns around. You see a bunch of people begin to stand. A bunch of people like shove them back down. And as you are coming around, you turn, and it's just this orc who's sitting there and who is just kind of like, everybody else says I can eat theirs. And he turns and like, you're just like, excuse me. And he turns and just goes,
Hi. Yeah. I'm not
he
gonna.
kind of like looks you over a little bit and then turns around and he just goes, well, stop for 1 second there. It's dangerous around these parts.
Right, aren't you the danger?
No.
Well, I've seen all of you. You've got 12.
You just
I see all of your friends around, and it felt like you were going to try and ambush me.
Make an intimidation check. Because he's turning around now and his backup is not there.
Intimidation? I don't think Ori's particularly... Yeah, Ori's not particularly intimidating, but okay. Oh, that...
In the box.
15?
A 15. Oh, no, I took my dice.
You think someone got shot in the face?
Well,
does that roll?
Alina's been like telling you what she sees, so Alina's like, not yet.
Crest toothpaste dice?
6.
A 6? Okay. So you just say, you and your friends, and he turns around and he just goes,
I already took care of your friend because, again, I thought you were going to ambush me, but he's okay. I just put him to sleep back there. So, don't want to have to kill all of you, but I just wanted to kind of figure out why you're trying to ambush people along the road.
Figure out why.
Because your friend pretty
he just does
anemic.
this loud cough, and from Rez's view now, people begin to like creep forwards, or you can hear them like coming.
And I can probably see them all because I saw them all
Yeah,
before.
oh for sure. Yeah, they're creeping, but for
Yeah,
you,
it's
like you absolutely
I
see
see
them.
you there, I see you there, I see you there, I see you there. All of you.
Each person is just like, oh, and like you see one guy who just stands up and just goes, oh man. For sure, you begin to call him out, and after a point, the orc just goes, shut up, like to all the rest of the bandits, and just goes, it's just you. What are you gonna do? There's 12 of us.
Well, see, that's the funny thing, because I got up to here without you noticing me, so how do you know that it's just me?
There's a murmur that goes through the whole group, and he just goes,
Right,
is
so I think...
it just you?
I don't know. Do you
Makes an insight check.
While this is happening,
Everybody is now aware. Yeah, you see everybody's like gone over. Ori is now standing in the middle of the road.
Are they like moving?
Yeah. Here, let me set up how this is going down here. So, Ori, at this point, you come here. This guy came over to talk to you. Slowly, they crept up, and then you started saying that you spotted them. And so now, yeah, this was all man guy. He's like peeking through the window now.
so far away.
This guy comes over here, and this guy comes over here. Ori, you see there's two that seem to be like staying a little bit further back.
And the one up there, too.
Oh yeah.
You can move him. He's going to come over here, too.
How about this guy?
He's going to stay where he is. But that guy's going to come over here.
Here.
Yeah. And so, like, they're all kind of beginning to gather around. They're lurking in the woods. Many have blades drawn and everything, but they're looking back and forth at each other kind of nervously. You guys have all seen Ori wander into enemy camps at night before to very poor success. This seems like it's going a little different so far. Is anybody doing anything?
It's going pretty well, but we're far away. So if Ori, yeah, we should, yeah, but be really
With
sneaky.
the cart, or should we get off?
No, not with the cart.
Okay.
So make stealth checks for those of you who want to creep up.
Is Billy part of this, or is she off doing her own thing?
Billy's going to be off doing her own thing for mechanics ease.
I can't move. How far back are we part?
And you guys know you don't want to wake Billy up.
From
An angry Billy is probably more dangerous than these guys.
Is that the one that I threw it?
we are 3.
It wasn't
This card is
mine.
300
I threw it because it
Is
was
this a
in
forest on
the area.
material
I don't know
plane?
whose it is.
This is a forest on the material plane. It absolutely is.
like 100
On my stealth check.
from the closest guy. Ish.
Okay.
Or I pulled them all away.
Yeah.
All part of the
love it.
plan. We had discussed
The
it.
first time in the whole campaign that you get to use
No,
it.
it's, I've used it in the past, but we were not on the material plane for a while, and I just got overly excited, and the dice are not
You
in
should
my favor
have
today.
donned or doffed your
17?
armor and then stealthed. Give me 10 minutes.
Was that a 3?
27.
27?
Begrudgingly.
3. Okay. So Valis is like, no, we should get off the cart and go very quietly. Clank, clank, clank.
I did not advocate for that.
So you all begin to creep up, and everybody but Valis, you can put yourself where you would like to go. Valis, you can move 15 feet closer.
Wait. About the 120 foot mark.
I think that is.
Behind something, preferably.
120 foot from where we are, or from them?
From them.
Them being who exactly?
That's pretty far
Majority of
back,
the
I think.
Right
This
there.
is about like here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like 1, 2.
That'll work.
Yeah, that'll probably work.
And so, Ori, at about this time, over where you are, suddenly, like, this human comes up. They pull this hood down to reveal, like, a really dirty face, and they lean over to the orc and they just go, "He's not lying. There's more of him out here."
Yeah, there's a few of us probably, maybe. I don't know. But the point being, you don't seem to be particularly well off, especially, I mean, despite being bandits, you don't look great even for bandits. So I don't really want to have to kill all of you.
He kind of murmurs under his breath, like, "Oh, looks can be deceiving."
Well, yeah, but your friend's looks were not deceiving. He looked as tired and weak as he was when I choked him out.
When you say it like that.
Yeah, he kind of looks like back at everybody else, and you can see several of these individuals take like a step back, and or you feel like you've kind of intimidated them. This guy looks up at you and he just says, "Fine, you can go through."
All right, but you still haven't answered my question of why you're doing this. Because, you know, other travelers, it's not going to be very nice of you to try and, you know, do what you tried to do here. Emphasis on the try, because you did not do a very good job, to be perfectly honest. I think perhaps a better course of action for you would be maybe pursuing some farming or fishing careers.
Make a persuasion check.
He pulls out previously written directions to Yuffles out of a sheath of the
Yeah.
same flyer. You know?
Rips one from the take one.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
19.
19. There's kind of a murmur around there, and he just says, "Make your point. We won't stay here." And you hear one of the other ones just go, "I'm not going to be a fisher, though." And like he just kind of like waves back, and he just says, "We'll move away from here."
Right, but are you going to move away and continue to terrorize, you know, humble folk? Because I think in the more cosmic scheme of things, I'm considering for you a path down life that is a bit more morally righteous.
I think at this point, Minka turns around Cheshire and be like,
There's like a full-on conversation.
Like, we're just
happening.
letting it happen.
And you can
It's
see
going so
people
much better
people are
than
like
what
lowering
happened.
their bows. You can see like there's a guy who like is like holding his sword and then like sees that he cut himself and like sheathes it. But yeah, it's definitely shifted in tone a little bit. But this individual just says, "I've never been a fisher before. I don't even know how to do that."
Well, it's pretty easy, you know. You really just, you take a stick, you put a string on it, you put something that fish like a worm, or, you know, some grubs, and you put a hook on
Like
that.
2 or 3 people now are like have joined this conversation, and now there's a few people who are kind of like nodding.
All you have to
Somebody
do-
else says, "Can you use a fly?"
Yeah, you could use a fly if you want. There's actually a different type of fishing.
This tiny little goblin just pops out and just goes, "Can you use a bean?"
Yeah, I think fish probably would like beans. I don't know for sure because I've never used them myself, but you could also just eat the beans yourself.
And so there's like a full-on now conversation, and you can see people now like openly walking onto the road, and now for those of you who have gotten close enough, you can hear the like elements of this happening, and Ori is now explaining fishing to these bandits.
Right. Well, so now that you're all here, I guess this is a good time to tell you that if you do try anything at this point, I do have some friends and they have magical abilities that will be able to incapacitate all of you simultaneously. So we are now at a point where
Conversation was going so well.
were you to try anything, you will not succeed. Just warning you to also encourage you to try this alternative path that I have presented, which
But we'll
is
fail.
right, you would fail, but you can't fail.
He looks so confused now. You just told him if he's gonna try something, he's gonna fail, and then now he has to try this new thing. So,
No, I was saying he would fail.
I, Joe, know this.
Yes.
But
Oh,
you've told this very low intelligence character a very
Fair enough.
confusing thing.
Right. Well, so what I suggest
And
is
he's a little bit lost at this point, but he goes, Stop. I kind of understood before. Now you're getting confusing. We're gonna go.
right. Try not to be bandits because you're not good at it, and it's just not good for other people either. It's kind of just a
especially when you're not doing it well. It's kind of an ass move.
Turns and just says, come on. And he walks. There's some grumbling. The one guy who went, oh, kind of comes over and just goes, can you just throw stuff into the water?
Well, you want to have it
string?
tied to a string so that you can pull it out again with the fish attached, and then you can take the fish and either eat it or sell it.
Should tell him about a net.
You could also use a net and catch a lot at the same time, but you'd probably want a boat to do that. So you maybe work
Put
your
some
way
bells on it.
You can do it from the shore if you have a good
You could do it from the shore.
Oh my god.
He turns and just goes, oh, I wish I could write. This is a lot of stuff, but okay. I'll try that.
That's good, yeah.
Send them to Yopo.
Yeah, actually, if you guys go off to the woods north of the Emerald Spire, there's a small... do you know what a grong is?
Yeah, I've seen them before.
Right, so there are a few small grong living up in the woods. If you tell them that Ori sent you, they have the basics of farming pretty good at this point, I would guess. So you could probably learn from them and maybe help with what they're trying to do there.
He turns around and goes, hey, guy, and like there's nobody else. Everybody else has gone away. It's just this one guy who stayed behind to ask you about fishing. But he turns around, make a persuasion check.
Oh, 7.
No.
I just remembered, grung are poisonous to touch. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, but they
for
have
me.
gloves, so it's okay.
I'm going to go find my friends to go fishing.
That's fine too. You go. Just
Sorry about all
don't
this.
try to ambush people on the road anymore. Just don't do that.
Good luck.
Okay. Thank you. And he just kind of like runs to catch up. Hey guys! And just like running through the woods. You hear them crashing through. But you've avoided this bandit encounter.
That's pretty good. Talon has reminded us that there is a wheel, if that wasn't already clear.
Oh boy.
All right, I think it's clear.
I start driving up with
This
the cart.
is the signal, but they left. So
That was also the signal.
Wow, Ori.
I think Minka's gonna levitate the log to move it out of the way so we have a clear path. I'm just gonna like gently push it to the
No
side.
problem. You shift the log out of the way to clear it for everybody.
Ori, that was amazing.
oh yeah, just talk to them.
Yeah.
They looked pretty.
Are you sure they're not gonna?
Going back to the cart.
Are you sure they're not gonna ambush other?
I'm not sure, but they said that they probably won't because I mean they were pretty pathetic.
I could send Rez after them for a little while to
Oh,
keep an eye on
actually,
them.
They may have been pathetic for us, but we heard them talking that not everyone made it through these woods.
True, but I think I got them to at least move off this road.
So that they can bandit another road?
A lot of them, it seemed, the reason I didn't give you the signal before was because a lot of them seemed pretty anemic, and I felt kind of bad killing people who were probably forced into banditry as a result of the circumstances in their lives. Because usually, if you are a bandit, it is because your other options have depleted. So I presented some alternative options, and it seemed like they picked up on those pretty well.
Well done, Ori.
Great work. And then
There
telepathically
is one
to...
who's passed out around the corner there, so if we...
Did they not?
want-
He's
Did they
fine.
not collect him?
we should check. I told them that he was there, but
If you check, he has been collected by his
it's
friends.
been collected. All right, he's okay, everyone.
Specifically by the orc. That was his friend.
I'm going to ask Rez if he would mind terribly just trailing bandits for a little while just to make sure they're not going to go right back to banditing.
Or
Yeah,
just
no,
set
I can
up
do
another
that.
Ambush ahead of us.
Just right back around.
You got us the first time, but we're back. Your
Red
fancy word
follows
games won't play on us now.
Surprise, as merchants this time.
And like pretty quickly he catches up to them because they're arguing in the woods, and you can hear a bunch of them that are like they don't want to be fishers, and another one's like I don't even know what fish are, and there's a lot of people begin to like splinter off, and at the end like Rez is kind of like, do you want me to follow any particular one or just the group?
Just the group, just make sure they're not setting up another ambush.
I mean, I don't think they're splintering apart over here.
Oh, nice.
I mean, if you go into his view, you can see they're like arguing and like kind of they're one by one going off. And there's a group at the end of about 2 or 3 that stick together, and they seem to be heading off to the west.
I should have. You're right. I should have framed it as instead of trying to rob people on the road, you should rob the sea of the fish.
Honestly, that probably would have landed a little easier. But no worries. You still got there in the end.
When we see them down the road a little
I
ways.
was hoping that you could get them to join the
The commune, yeah.
That was the most
was rooting
important
for
role
you.
of my campaign so far, and I failed.
Yeah, I know. I was rooting for it too. But no worries. The path is now open for all of you, and if you want, you can get back to the cart.
They're all fucking dead. Of starvation because they can't fish either.
Onwards. No, you
Walk away, steady aim,
taught him how to fish.
I gave them the very basics.
I know you teach a man to fish.
Yeah. I guess I'm Jesus.
Heard it here first.
Is
So-
that Jesus' thing?
It is.
Doesn't he teach a man to fish, right? Isn't that a...
No,
I
I
don't
think he
know.
just
I don't know,
multiplies
just made
the
been a
fish,
Bible
right?
Yeah.
There's a story in the Bible where he shows up and people are starving and they're like, all we got is this fish. And he's like, if you give me the fish, I'll feed you. And they're like, no. And he's like, here's a fish, million bread loaves.
And then he's like,
It's a
all right,
miracle.
so how you do this is...
Take some bait.
Can't to see Jesus. In the chat, Kara has just said, "Oh no."
So if you wish, you guys can all board. And for those of you who need to, you can finish up your long rest. That's only another hour or two left in that process. And as, give me a second, let me get my timing right. As you finish your rest, it draws to right about the early hours of the 25th of Summertide. This is Wednesday, for those of you who are keeping track, Kara. This is a little bit of a more humid day, and as the light level begins to rise, you can see little bits of perhaps rain off in the distance as the air does get a little darker. But that's a little ways away. It's still nice directly around where you are. You find the Woodcarver's Way travels and is well maintained for most of the duration of the Heliodor Woods. You don't see really any of these crystals that this place is known for, and so no, especially you, Minka, probably glancing out every now and then. You don't see any on the roadside, but that makes sense. They would probably be snatched up if that were the case. You see tall sycamores that kind of line the side here, punctuated by a few oaks, a few species of pine, but pretty well spaced, and so the road doesn't really have to turn. It's pretty straight, and you have good visibility for much of this leg of the journey. There are birds that are chirping here, and here and there you will see that there are people that are on the road. You would pass by an elderly hunter who is camping out, kind of the last embers of their fire dying. They're like sitting in the edge of their kind of tent, and they draw back at first as you all approach, but especially seeing the fancy kind of carriage, he would just kind of wave as you all pass. It seems like you've kind of passed the dangerous section, at least for now, and you begin to make your way closer to the Aguardian Pass. Or sorry, to the Acumen Pass. Is there anything that you guys are doing in this kind of early morning? Anything that you guys want to get ready for the day?
I want to get ready for eating some of Erdon's tasty roasts.
Okay. Great way to put it. Free action, you prepare.
Nom 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 nom.
Oh, don't do that.
The birds chirp happily, but then you see one bird who's like, ugh, and flies away from Ori. But no problem.
It's a real day.
Yeah. So you travel at one point, kind of making your way. Give me 1 second here. To an area where I would say, Alina, you had actually spotted with Billy as you had passed. Lining the road in this stretch, there are these huge oak trees that are spaced about 50 feet apart, almost like they were planted this way. And as you pass, the wind that you leave in your trail makes them kind of wobble and wave. And these are dancing oaks. They're a species that has kind of migrated from the Feywild into this area. And that does give you the idea that there's probably some element of entryway to the Feywild somewhere nearby. It's not one that you're aware of or is known to the people of Thornholm. But that is definitely something that you notice. And I would say, Ori, you notice that as well.
Can we mark it on the map just for future reference?
Yeah, sure. You mark it.
Again? Hey.
There's probably an entrance to the Feywild somewhere around here.
Another circle.
Fey circle.
Fey circle. Yeah.
But
And it's near. I'm just gonna say near Erdom's.
near the Heliodor Wood.
Okay.
Are we still in the woods or are we outside the woods now?
So you're like right after the first 4 hours of this day, you make it to the edge of the wood to an area that is known as the Akumaran Pass. And so this is where the trees open up, and really it's not a forest anymore. There's grassy plains. On either side, there are, really to the north, there are foothills and mountains, and eventually that travels up to a huge mountain that is really the highest point in central Everest that is known as Exocrash. And then you had heard that you need to travel through the Exocratian foothills beyond, so you're probably wrapping just around that and then heading north towards the Candlestick Forest.
How far from the forest are we, do we think, at this point?
Probably, because you have taken the cart, probably only like a day and a half. You've made really good time, probably doubling your speed.
Ah,
Nice.
good job, guys. Oh, I would like to say something to the group in the morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I did want to say this earlier when we were leaving the city, but I wanted to propose a toast to you all. I think here's some mention that going into the candlestick, the emotions you carry with you is the danger that you will find within. And I noticed that when we're in the volcano, things were really dire between us, but the tone seems to have shifted between us. So I would just like to commemorate that and propose, I know I haven't been traveling you long, a toast to you all. It has been an honor and a pleasure
Haha, idiot.
traveling with you all. I've never had like a party that I traveled with, and I feel like in the short time I've been with you, I've seen so many more things than I would have been able to see when I was on my own.
I do appreciate your sentiment, Valis, but I can't help but ask, are you sure that you haven't met ones, or could you have possibly met some who are better than us, but had that memory taken? Because we're not actually that great.
Come on now. Look at how you
Rude.
just talk those bandits out of attacking us.
Rude.
I think you can.
Don't spoil the moment.
I was
One day,
only
Ori,
joking.
I hope that you allow yourself to give yourself a little bit more credit.
No.
Look at him melting all of our cold hard hearts.
Valis, at this you hear, have you forgotten things before?
Oh, yes. I've been meaning to talk to you about this. No one. I'm in my head now, right?
Yeah, so all of a sudden, like, as soon as yeah, essentially, you just suddenly
Did he
kinda
just
look
black
away.
out before he even drank anything?
Real lightweight as well.
Tavares.
Just the thought of it.
You've told me a lot about yourself, but I don't think I've told you a lot about me. I also used to be a scholar of the Awesome Lock.
Ah, Valis, a scholar.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you before about a boy I knew once named Valis. I knew another Valis who was also a scholar. Or was it Vela?
Tavares, what year did you live in?
Pick one.
Well, I'm still alive.
What
What year is it?
what year is it, Joe?
14, I want to say 83. Give me 1 second.
So
Sorry, at the
should
top
we
of my notes.
wait for him to finish before we finish the toast, or
1481 third age.
Because I kind of want to drink this before it.
Oh,
Cheers.
cheers.
Oh, you're back.
Sorry, the necklace just started talking to me, and I just realized I've been putting off this conversation for a while. Please excuse me, Black.
All right.
I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
That's
very
actually
nice.
really interesting.
Make a, that is a wisdom.
I think just surface thoughts, it's not, but if I go deeper, it is.
Yeah,
which
I think
I'm
that's
sure
what it is.
Because I have the Starfinder one memorized, and that's kind of throwing me
It's
off.
different,
right now.
yeah, because that one's like wacky.
Over 3 turns it changes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what's on its mind at the moment. As an action, you can probe deeper, and if you do that, then it's a wisdom saving throw. So you're just reading surface thoughts?
To start, and if I don't get anything, then we'll go deeper.
Well, my aunt's aunt.
So Javaris says, well, the memory, that's interesting. You know, I had my memories taken too, and they were formed over many long years. I think you want to know what time I'm from.
Yes. What time are you from?
That's a complicated answer.
What time were you alive in a corporeal form before you were in prayer beads?
To Javaris the First and Gentea, I was born in the year 1114, third age. But I've met many, many wise scholars and powerful mages, and so I've had the great fortune of traveling to many times. For instance, there was a time when I had lost something very dear to me, and I had found an individual named Abernathy, and he took me back one day only to find my cat. I didn't think it was worth it, but Abernathy insisted.
My hearing.
So what are your surface thoughts that are coming from this?
This is
Well,
weird.
when he said he had his memories taken, I was super interested. And then I got a little bit confused when he started talking about his cat.
Okay.
So, high interest and then confusion.
Going deeper.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, not looking good. Is this a charm effect?
No.
I think so.
9.
That's a failure.
Do I know that something has been done to me? Or is
You
it like...
don't know unless you
Secret.
fail,
Alright,
or
that's
unless
fine.
you succeed.
So I'm gonna ask... I'll try another question. What do you mean when you say that you've had your memories taken from you?
Well, if I could remember that, they wouldn't have been taken from me. But I mean, at the Arson Lock, if you are accused of plagiary, which I must have been, the thoughts that you have stolen, they will take back. Did that happen to you, Valis, who was not my friend and not the other Valis?
No. Wait, sorry, I got confused. Yes,
Wait,
that did
yes.
happen.
What did you steal, Valis? That is a grave, grave offense.
I don't think that I was accused of stealing the stuff. Are you familiar with the Wake Peter flu?
Wake Peter. I've not heard of a flu.
It is
but
a sickness that has plagued the Emerald Spire, starting about...
The Emerald Spire. That's a grand structure. Long ago, there was something known as a spire phase. You know, that is where the spire came from, and that was during the First Age, really.
Yes.
They take a long time to grow, and time for you is very different than time for me. Time for many
when they
creatures,
did grow,
really.
I lived in the Emerald Spire, and the Wake Peter flu ravaged the section of the city, and I started investigating it. And and my research was, I was accused of stealing my research, but I got a tip recently that there was that I was framed, and so I've been trying to remember, but it's so hard.
It's impossible. you would need to retrieve your memories from whence they're stored. And that would be very difficult to do. The Arcanoclast keeps them hidden and keeps them buried deep. I'm sorry about this illness, Valis, who is not my friend Valis, but maybe one day will be. You should go to the Emerald Spire and ask the Sentinels what has happened. Their whole purpose is to protect the Spire. They will know.
Ask them what has happened to what?
This sickness. I don't know about the Wake Peter flu, but Wake Peter is an interesting substance. It can do many miraculous things.
What? You mentioned the Arcanoclast. What is that?
The Arcanoclast is the ruling council of the Osenlock. They are the foremost scholars. They are the ones who decide who has their memories taken. They are the ones who can access the fullness of the archives of the Osenlock. There are several archives, you know. The Osenlock has many branches. When I was young, the Osenlock only had one in the Emerald Spire, but it's grown so great. In 1203, I was privileged to be able to cross the boiling sea to Mythalstream, and we didn't know what we would find there. But and then you feel that you have really caught onto a tangent, and it would probably take some kind of check to break away.
I would like to make a check to break away.
Yeah, go for it.
Valis has been like this for 20 minutes, and we're all just fucking hammered.
I don't think this one's gonna go through well.
No, certainly not. He talks straight through you.
Okay. All right.
Does this area seem familiar to Miko? Because like, she's now that she's identified one location from Dream, she's like, this is a lot of mountains.
It is a lot of mountains, but
Are those the right mountains?
it doesn't seem like the right mountains.
Okay. That'd be very close to each other.
How close are we to
What all does
Erdon's?
Cheshire get out of that?
Sorry, say one more time.
What all does Cheshire get out of that?
I mean, all of it, pretty much. You get to read all those thoughts, so you get those. Interestingly, though, what I will say is
I'm confused.
this particular
Of all the pieces.
casting of read thoughts, there's an impediment to it. You are able to, for better or for worse, Valis is pretty susceptible to this, it seems, but there is something significantly stronger than Valis's willpower that is preventing you from really seeing the full picture.
Cheshire's just kind of eyeing you.
Oh, he's out.
And Javaris, just as you pull away, I mean, you're just feeling Javaris like in the back of your mind, almost like this little mosquito, just going on and on about how he crossed the stream to Mythalstream, and it was a long journey, but it was a pleasant journey. Just a lot of stuff about this.
He's now on in the background, like
Yeah.
when you have like a podcast on the background while you do your chores.
I feel like we should
exactly.
have a drinking game for every time that you or Alina do your weird thing where you just kind of.
What do I look like when I? Is that
you
really
see-
what I?
Well, does it look like my thing?
Well, what did you do? Because I was doing his thing, which was.
Well,
I mean, I probably
just for a second I go see what Rez is seeing.
for prayer. I probably look like I'm praying, don't I? Because these are prayer beads.
So, interestingly,
I'm sure you wish
They're-
you look like that.
called prayer
Prayer is
beads.
different for everyone.
And even as you think that, there's a moment where Javaris is just saying, like, and on the third day, the sardines had run. Oh, well, actually, prayer beads is not entirely accurate. They're prayer beads in so much as they are to what I worship, knowledge. And so you can call them what they wish.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, this was a tool. But the sardines had really run out, and so he gets right back onto his tangent.
Yeah, so you kind of do that too, where you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
And then usually Billy catches you, but there was this one time where she didn't. It was pretty funny because you fell on your face.
Glad to have been entertaining for
It's
you.
more like a vacant stare. Or
Yeah, yours
suddenly you
isn't
just kinda
as
stop.
full body, just like blur.
So I don't think we have had a chance to talk, but this item that, like, since the volcano, but this item that, Kirsten found for me, it seems really powerful, and there seems to be a sentient being inside of it. And if you see me go out, it's probably me conversing with him, but he is.
I
Very-
thought you were just crazy. That explains so much.
Can it cast all
Jury's
the?
still out on that.
Can it do all the things that the giant king was doing?
Yes.
He
the
cast
spe-
Sunbeam.
Yeah, the
I hate
spells
that
that he
stuff.
casts, I can do them with the beads now. Each
Well,
It's just
spell-
this dark, like, suntan now. Like, it's peeled away.
You need some aloe vera.
Yeah.
Yeah, badly.
Fantasy aloe vera.
Just like, okay.
Also,
Valo era.
We just call it.
It's aloe vera.
what do I know about this? Do I just know this sentence about this item? Or is that a property of the item that I don't
The
know about?
Iconoclast one?
Yeah.
You didn't get an answer from Javaris. I would say, yeah, you don't really know. You just kind of know. You get the sense that this can be used in the Austenloch in a way that is pretty important, but you don't quite know what that is.
Okay.
And that term probably comes to mind, but yeah, that's about it.
Gotcha.
Well,
Anyways, this item is really, really good, and I look forward to the other things that he has found for us.
Yeah, I can't
I
wait to
don't
get
look
my hands
forward
on
to
this,
the part where we have to get them, though, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not as bad as that. But,
Ori always with the positives.
well,
hold on.
I said but, you know, we made it through and we're here now, surviving as best we
Certainly.
can.
A better team now than we were before. And Alina kind of glances over at Billy, who is still sleeping. Okay. And Alina's gonna be like, I mean, you remember that I told you about Billy and hags, right? So like,
Billy like sneers a little bit in her sleep.
I think she's gonna get a bit of a boost from being able to.
To kill some hags. Right.
Speaking of which, I know that we were still figuring out if we wanted to. Are we definitely going to the Candlestick Forest before Blackbriar?
Well, I was also hoping, because we're kind of going to have to take a break at some point, again, not soon, but in another day or so, and I would like to go to a very lovely place for some food, which I haven't been to in quite some time, and since we're in the area and we're going to need to rest, I figured we could stop there for the night, and then make our way. It's on the way to the Candlestick Forest. So we're going to basically be going right past anyway.
Are you talking? Do you have a friend in the area?
I wouldn't necessarily
I would
say
love to meet a friend of Ori's.
friend.
I say we go.
More of a patron of
Lady friend?
his restaurant.
Or man friend? I'd wait, we're not judging.
Is I mean, I guess at a time we
Judging
could
a little
be
bit,
friends,
but not
but
judging.
I really haven't been back here.
It is decided.
Where do you want to go? Where?
It's how far away are we now?
So yeah, you're right about right. This has taken you. So this would normally have taken you about 4 days to get there. At the end of today, probably even a little bit before you need to stop, you'll get to Roadworthies. And so, I mean, you're cruising right along.
We'll probably make it right around evening. So actually, that's why the timing kind of works out. We'll probably want to stop for a meal.
I am in.
It should be a relatively safe place to camp for the night as well, because it's well, it was a well-frequented restaurant, roastery.
Charming as this conversation is,
Oatmeal roastery. Kind
still doesn't answer Balaz's original question.
Oh, what was your
Thank
original
you.
question?
Are we going to fight hags now?
I say-
Well, I would like to at least have a meal before the hags.
Which is why we got derailed.
And also,
so thank you, Ori.
further ahead. Yes.
I mean, Val's brought up a good point where we don't often come back the way we came.
We usually
And if
Plus,
do.
if there's a powerful item that the hag, that we can get from the hags, it'll make
It'll
us
help
better
us.
equipped to help with the
Well,
movement.
I highly doubt we're going to be able to help with cave then.
Well, you know what I
Just
mean.
checking in. And we'll also be a lot closer to the Onyx Spire because we'll be out in the north. Granted, on the wrong side of the mountains. But we'd be able to see if any influence kind of came by. The Meteocracy also is always a weird place to travel through anyway.
So,
Makes no never mind to me. But awful confusing. We're going here, we're going there, we're going here, we're going there.
Well, I think we've got to go in that general direction.
to your friends, to the hat, to the Candlestick
Necessarily, I
Forest,
haven't been here in like 50,
and then
50
to
years or
Blackbriar.
That would be a straight line, yeah.
Lead the way, Ori.
Or you just kind of hold the reins.
Yeah.
The horses just disappear. No. You continue to make your way through, and Ori, make a perception check.
Can I help?
Yeah.
All right,
If you're
I'd
up
like to
there.
help.
Yeah.
Since I'm in the front with you, so feel free to roll at advantage.
There you go.
Probably better.
All right.
Yeah, history is proved.
It was a 27.
A 27. So you go along, and I would say about halfway through the day, it does begin to rain a little bit. And normally that would kind of impede your vision. But Ori, as you guys are making your way to the end of the Acumaran Pass, you are now passing into the Magiocracy of the Rising Storm. And so these are places that are a little bit more familiar to you. You may have not been to this exact spot, but you've certainly seen it from a distance. And as you get towards the end of the day, you haven't passed anybody for a good amount of time, but you certainly are familiar with the place that you're coming to. And you can see off in the distance the kind of lumpy roof of this restaurant. Restaurant being a relative term. It is primarily an oat roastery, and they also do serve food if he feels like it, and primarily mostly to you. Yeah. So, I mean, you're approaching, and you can see it off in the distance. It looks exactly as you remembered it. There's a little bit of smoke rising up, and at this time of night, that's about right. This is when they would start the oats for tomorrow morning, and yeah, they seem to be active and doing things.
All right, we're here. So,
What was your friend's name again?
again, as I haven't been here in quite some time, I don't even know if they're gonna remember me.
Why
but
do you
it was
keep not
Erdon.
answering us when we ask what this place
Well,
and the
because I
person
feel
are
like I
named,
need
though?
to. His name is Erdon, and it's
Erdon.
his oat roastery.
Oh, roast.
They roast oats
Oh, roast.
primarily,
Is that what we're calling
but
it
they
now?
also serve food, and it is also a location where we might rest.
Is it oats?
Typically, and vegetables and other grains, but mostly oats.
And actually, what's coming to mind for you, Ori, one thing that he would do for you and for a few other people, but typically this is like for friends, and this immediately springs.
Actually, I was wrong. We are friends.
He did tend
Officially.
to keep these small globes of chocolate that he would shave little elements off to, along with some strawberries, into some of this oatmeal, especially if people were hungover. This was something that he would make for people. And so that's an interesting thing to think about as well.
There's also, well, before we go, can I talk to you for a moment, Alina?
Yeah.
Privately, as in privately. Actually, I don't care if anyone privately.
Yeah,
Saying
Hey, Raz.
that just makes...
Yeah, go for it.
can you give us a second, Raz?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. I dismissed him.
Disappears. He definitely gives you a second.
There is chocolate here.
Oh,
You should not give it to Rez willy-nilly.
yeah, learn that lesson.
Right.
The hard
So,
way. Thanks.
but I also have noticed that sometimes he has a tendency to sniff it out and can't control his urges.
Maybe you should hold on to it.
Well, I don't have it. See, it's Erdon.
No, I mean once we obtain it, instead of me holding it.
Well, see, my fear is that we're going to get close and he is going to smell it.
Oh.
And then
I think he's saying that there's like chocolate
I'm
like in
saying
the
maybe-
kitchen and stuff, and it'd be bad for us if
It would maybe be prudent to keep Rez away
Yeah.
for a little while.
Okay.
A whole lot more fun.
All right.
Until Erdon. I didn't mention Erdon is a bugbear.
A whole lot more fun.
So I just feel like getting
Also, spicy. I can appreciate
getting
that
him
about you.
upset, I would not necessarily,
Okay.
especially if we're trying to get food and lodging.
Yep.
he
Makes perfect
Taking us
sense.
to an
So just
Come on.
keep that in
At
mind.
this point, your card is like coming up, and you can now all see this like hut.
Good friend that he didn't want to tell us about.
It's thatched, and it has like a really high kind of top roof, and then there are areas where it's kind of like lumpy and been propped up. And or you're aware that at times this has kind of like fallen over or been. There's actually a pretty powerful storm that knocked off a lot of the structure at one point, and has been patched up, and it's very misshapen now. And so over time, it's become quite a lumpy structure, but. For the most part,
Like I remembered.
yeah, for the most part, it is kind of like you remembered. It's always just a little bit more ugly than you had last left it. But as you get a lot closer, the door swings open, and you see this massive, very rotund bugbear. This bugbear looks the most like a grizzly bear out of any bugbear that you've ever seen. They like kind of pop up, and as they step out through, they have to like unstretch, and they are quite large. Their belly swings out like out from underneath this tunic, but they squint through this element of darkness, and they just say, "Is that being Ori?" And because it is 10 o'clock, this is where we're going to end for the evening. So thank you for sticking with us for this session of Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest. We will be back next week on Friday, but if you can't wait that long, we're going to re-air this on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Thursday, we are finally going to be getting back to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. But please stay safe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.